Yo, 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 what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure y'all hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking. All right. So shout out to everybody who is in the building early. It's good to see each and every one of you all. I hope you guys' night is going okay. If you guys can hear me, please give me a thumbs up or a radiation emoji in the chat. If you guys cannot hear me, give me a thumbs down or an angry face. All right. I'm going to shout out everybody who's in the building early. We got Carla Lockhart up in here. Shout out to you, Carla. We got Denise Scales in the building. Shout out to you, Miss Nisi. We got Patricia Slade, B1. Shout out to my man, James Sumler. We got my man, Dave Brown in the house. B1, what's good with y'all? Good to see each and every one of you all. All right. So we're going to talk about a bunch of things tonight. All right. This stream is probably going to go long because there's a lot of stuff that we got to talk about in terms of Texas versus everyone, because it seems like Texas is in a war of attrition with not only the United States government, but with other states because of their differences in attitudes and policy toward immigrants, immigration, migrants, migration, and illegal border crossing, which is the actual issue that we're dealing with. But for whatever reason, the mainstream media and a lot of people who are Democrats or consider themselves, quote unquote, on the left, don't really discuss it in its proper terminology and, for propaganda purposes, of course. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is what your boy Joe Biden said. As you guys can see here, Joe Biden said that the southern border is not secure. So what are you going to do about it, Joe? What are you going to do about the southern border not being secure? Here's a better question. Why is it not secure? Is the southern border secure? No, it's not, President Biden says. I wonder if he said anything else. So this is House Speaker Johnson, and he went to Mexico to spotlight the need for immigration reform. Now, there was some really, really, really interesting stuff that went on in Mexico that we need to address, which is one of the reasons why this stream is probably going to end up being so long. Let's take a listen to this first.
Rather than incentivizing people to come, the president needs to deter people from entering the country. Rather than discussing amnesty with Mexico, as top Biden administration officials did within the last couple of weeks, this administration should reinstate the Remain in Mexico policy, as was said. Rather than expanding parole authority to an unprecedented scale, the president should obviously end catch and release and stop the abuse of our parole and asylum systems.
You have Speaker Johnson, who has been very clear where he stands on the border, right? Who has continues with the House Republicans to make this a political issue and to move forward with political stunts, and has blocked any efforts for the president to deal with the border. That's what we've seen. That is what we've seen from the speaker.
So now let me ask you guys a question. Is that true? Has Governor Abbott blocked Joe Biden from being able to do anything at the border, or has the federal government failed to act and failed to do anything at the border? Let me know which one is true.
Now, the president has been able, with his team, right, to have a bipartisan conversation and negotiation with senators, Republicans and Democrats. That is a good thing.
And did anything come out of it? Has there been any changes? Are we looking at any improvements? Is there a plan for improvement? As of right now, it's all empty words. Okay. So now here it says President Joe Biden said Friday that he does not believe the U.S.-Mexico border is secure, giving an unusually blunt assessment on the state of surging migration as he pushes a deal in Congress for quote unquote massive changes to address border security. Now, let me ask you guys this question. Do you all think that Joe Biden is finally speaking out on this only because election season is approaching, and one of the issues that's weakening his campaign and his electability chances is how everyone is unsatisfied with the border? Do you all think that that's the reason why he's choosing to speak out about this now? No, it's not. Biden said when asked by a reporter whether the border is secure after he gave remarks before a bipartisan group of mayors at the White House. I haven't believed that for 10 years, and I've said it for the last 10 years. Give me the money. Whatever the hell that means. He's the one that signs the checks. I don't know what he's talking about. Give him the money. But again, this is Joe Biden that we're talking about. And when does Joe Biden ever say anything that makes a lot of sense? Biden, who has had long avoided calling migration at the border a crisis, is seeking a deal for supplemental spending packages in Congress that would include border measures to bring Republicans on board to back a more funding to help Ukraine defend itself against Russia. So now, if you ask me, one of the reasons why Joe Biden is actually moving on this is so that he can continue to get funding and cooperation for his war, and so he can boost his chances of electability. I don't really see any other motive behind him doing that other than that. So now here it says Biden said he expects a border deal in place with Senate negotiators next week, but an agreement in the House is very much in doubt after House Speaker Mike Johnson, facing pressure from hardline Republicans, said this week that he doesn't believe now is the time for comprehensive immigration reform. And I agree with that. I believe that comprehensive border security is what needs to take place. And once they get the border under control, then maybe they can look into comprehensive immigration reform. If you ask me, if you do comprehensive immigration reform, all you're doing is changing a bunch of stuff on paper, and you're not really doing anything to secure the border, which is the actual problem. It's the border and the illegal entries, and the illegal entries being treated as if that's just normal, that's causing the backlog, and it's also causing the excess resource utilization that's not allowing things to run efficiently. You know what I'm saying? So now it says, I believe we need significant policy changes, including changes in our asylum system, to ensure we have the authorities we need to control the border. Biden said in his speech to the mayors, I'm ready to act. Now, the question is for Speaker and House Republicans, Biden continued, referring to Johnson. Are they ready to act as well? They have to choose if they want to solve a problem or keep weaponizing me to score political points against the president. I'm ready to solve the problem. I really am. Massive changes, and I mean it sincerely. I just don't buy this, man. Now, my thing is, if this was the case, then he would be able to just go ahead and initiate some of this on his own. You know what I'm saying? Following his speech, Biden was also asked whether he believes his policies have contributed to surging migration at the border. He responded, no. I've asked for thousands more of everything from judges to anyway, Biden said before taking a different question. So, yeah, as usual, Biden didn't even complete that sentence. So there's that. All right. So Biden finally admits that the border is not secure, which is great. But what is he going to do about it? What is he going to do about it? There's been there's been some talk about how this border crisis issue is going to affect his campaigning. We're going to take a look at a video from News Nation where they dive into that and talk about it a little bit. And shout out to everybody that's watching. I appreciate each and every one of you all, wherever you're watching from. If you haven't smashed the like button, please take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, make sure that you guys hit that bell and share the stream to your social media. We're closing the gap on that 500 subscribers. If I'm not mistaken, we only need 40 more. So help us close that gap and hit that bell.
Of the 2+ million people who come across illegally each year, 85% or more get paroled into the United States. That means they get a bus ticket to the city of their choice. They get a work permit to be here in America and are told to show up in a couple of years for a court date. President Biden can change the rules about parole tomorrow and send all of the people we see back to Mexico to wait for their asylum hearing. By definition, a lot fewer people would come. We learned the reality on the border when we were down there. The more people who come over and get released with a bus ticket or a plane ticket to the city of their choice and then call back to their friends and say, hey, I made it, the more and more people who come. That explains why the number of crossings under President Biden are many multiples of those under President Trump and expected to only continue to increase. The New York Times today issued a warning to Democrats, pressuring the Biden administration to keep parole. Quote, the Democratic Party increasingly reflects the views of socially liberal professionals on immigration. These affluent, highly educated voters tend to favor more open policies, while working class voters prefer less immigration.
Now, let me ask you guys this question. Why do you all think that is? Why do you all think that the particular people that support immigration support it, and the people that they're saying here in the New York Times who are opposed to it are opposed to it? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section.
But it's not just a working class issue. December 2023 poll shows 79% of registered voters want more Border Patrol agents. In other words, to stop more people from coming. 67% want to deport illegal immigrants already here. 58% want to use the military to stop illegal immigration. With us now, Director of Data Science, Decision Desk HQ, Scott Traynor, Democratic strategist Kurt Bardella. Gentlemen, good to see you. Scott, and we saw that, right? 27% of Americans identify as Republican, 58% want to use the military, more than 2/3 want to deport people who are already here. That surprised me. What does the border become a proxy for?
It's basically become a proxy for everything from economic issues. That's what we hear when we look at the results in Texas and Arizona and California. It becomes a proxy for social issues. That's what you look at when you see the people, the mayors of New York and Chicago. And it has become a partisan issue. By and large, Democrats promote what they call comprehensive immigration reform, and Republicans want something more concrete, whether it be a wall or troops on the border.
Like we think about what the deal right now on Capitol Hill is. That look, the big four, everybody was at the White House for negotiations here. Okay, so the deal basically $61 billion for Ukraine, $14.2 billion for Israel, $14 billion for border security, $1.2 billion to combat fentanyl. All
now, do you guys hear all of these amounts of money being spent? You guys hear that those amounts of money being spent? Shout out to David Boy. Or, I'm sorry, shout out to David Brown. David Brown says they love them checks that the funds can't be accounted for and cheap labor. Yeah, fact. Big facts. Those are business owners and people who have a lot of money to be able to pay those undocumented people low wages. Super facts. Now, they just ran down a bunch of amounts of money. A lot of money being spent all over the place. Remember, we don't have any money. But listen to this list of money being spent again.
About what the deal right now on Capitol Hill is. That look, the big four, everybody was at the White House for negotiations here. Okay, so the deal basically $61 billion for Ukraine, $14.2 billion for Israel, $14 billion for border security, $1.2 billion to combat fentanyl, all things that people want, and to end parole. And what I can't figure out, Kurt, is that it seems kind of obvious, right? If you want people to stop coming across, you've got to stop letting people out into the United States.
Let's put these are numbers that we're going to have to be talking about. $61 billion for Ukraine. All right, so we're going to take a tally on each one of these. How many people support $61 billion in taxpayer money going towards Ukraine? If you support that, give me a thumbs up. If you do not support that, give me a thumbs down. $14.3 billion for Israel. If you support it, give me a thumbs up. If you don't support it, give me a thumbs down. $14 billion for border security. I'm not mad about that. $1.2 billion to combat fentanyl. Nah, I'm not with that. The last two, they can the only one that I support out of here is $14 billion for border security. As far as Ukraine, Israel, and fentanyl, those are all on their own. What do you guys think? Let me know. Shout out to Dave Brown. Dave Brown, the only one that's awake.
All the more, 1,000 more Border Patrol agents doesn't do any good if you're just going to catch people and release them. How did we get, forget deporting everybody, how did we get that letting everybody into the United States is so sacred among progressives?
Well, I think that progressives are a victim of their own left flank kind of promoting this idea that, well, we should welcome everybody in the world, right? We are all a nation of immigrants. You hear that catchphrase a lot, I think, from the left. They are horribly out of step where I think most Americans are right now on this, especially when we're seeing now in cities like New York. It used to be, well, it's a border issue. It only affects people on the border. The rest of the United States doesn't really care because they're not on the border. But now that we're seeing migrants get bussed over to Chicago, to New York, to cities, to metropolitans, they're like, wait a second. This isn't working for us. This is a problem. We do not like this. And the more that keeps happening.
Anytime I see all of that razor wire, it's just amazing to me. Like this is just amazing. This is actual razor wire. Like this isn't barbed wire fence. This is wire with raised razors on it. Spools and spools and spools of it. It's just fascinating. Where do you buy that at? I'm about to go on Amazon and see if I can find some of that. Where do you get this stuff at?
2 New York, 2 cities, 2 metropolitans. They're like, wait a second. This isn't working for us. This is a problem. We do not like this. And the more that keeps happening, the more we're seeing Democrats just not adapt to the reality that people are seeing every day in their backyard. It's not just like in California where we're from here. They are now seeing it in their streets. They're seeing it in their workplaces. They're seeing it in their hospitals.
Hold on, man. Are you for real? They had a cardboard. Look. They had a cardboard box blocking the razor wire and crawling under the cardboard box. That's wild.
Adapt to the reality that people are seeing every day in their backyard. It's not just like in California where we're from here. They are now seeing it in their streets. They're seeing it in their workplaces. They're seeing it in their hospitals. They're seeing it in their schools. Democrats need to wake up here because this is an issue that could cost them dearly in November if they don't adapt.
All right, Congressman Pete Aguilar, Democrat, on this. Take a listen.
Yeah, this issue is absolutely, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, because this issue is absolutely going to affect them in November. This issue is absolutely positively going to affect them in November. And real quick, shout out to everybody that's watching. We got 15 people watching and we got 18 likes. If everybody can bang on that like button and get us to 20, that would be great.
We're not going to fix this by building walls. We're going to fix this through broader use of technology, manpower, immigration, judges, humanitarian assistance, aid to local communities who are dealing with the frontline impacts. Unfortunately, as you've heard recently, Speaker Johnson doesn't believe in anything comprehensive when it comes to the border immigration.
Look, politicians are known to spin, but that's just disingenuous because you can have all the Border Patrol agents you want, Scott, and if you don't say, once we catch people, we're going to deport them, we're just going to release them. It doesn't matter. This is the question. Are swing voters buying the concept that Republicans are holding up immigration reform?
So it depends on how it's framed. I think by and large, swing voters want a solution. You know, Republicans want to be specific about either, you know, military in the border walls, whatever it is. Swing voters just want to stop talking about this, which is why I think it's interesting. You look at what Mitch McConnell's been saying to the conference. You look at what the Democrats want. Speaker Johnson obviously is against it. You know, by and large, swing voters don't want to talk about this issue anymore, which is why it's their #1 issue.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinna.com.
All right, so there's that. All right. So now next, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this video that Fox News put up. And this video is asking the question of whether Biden is serious about closing the border. He never mentioned closing the border. All he said was that the border is not secure. And then he said we need comprehensive immigration reform. So since those are what he said, and he didn't say anything about closing the border, I wouldn't even go as far as to make the assumption that he's serious about closing the border because he never mentioned closing the border. You know what I'm saying? Comprehensive immigration reform is not the same as closing the border. Those two things are not synonymous. So just because he mentions addressing the border, just because he mentions comprehensive immigration reform, if he does not say, I want to put in place measures to close the border, then I don't believe that he's serious or has a desire to close the border. If you guys agree with that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, then give me a thumbs down. And shout out to DeAndre. Shout out to DeAndre for being a like enforcer. Please do everything that DeAndre has typed up on this wonderful comment that I have posted on the screen. Oop. Hold on one second, guys. My bad. The screen share didn't take. Hold on. Okay, there we go. My bad. All right, let's get it.
Let's bring in New York Congresswoman Claudia Tenney and Texas Congresswoman Beth Van Dyne. Thank you both. I appreciate it. Here's the thing. I don't understand this. Is this, I'll start with Claudia. Is this about Ukraine or is this about the border? Because I think more Americans would like to close the border than they would give more money to Ukraine. But
now, I got to agree with this guy. I literally said that earlier. I think that Biden is only interested or open to doing this or even speaking about it so that he can get his funding for his war in Ukraine. I got to agree with what this guy's saying.
But you guys tell me. Go ahead, Claudia. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I think it's 100% about the border. The American people think it's about the border. 73% of all parties polled think it's the #1 issue is the border crime and what it's causing. You know, the violence at the border, the breaching our sovereignty and having all these people come across the border. The #1 issue and job of the federal government, and specifically the executive branch, is border security and national defense. We have people coming across the border, and you and I have talked about this, Larry. 85% of the people that are on the terror watch list are coming across the northern border. Our customs and border agents have been displaced to the southern border. The Democrats are obsessed with Ukraine. We, as Republicans and the Republican conference, are obsessed with securing our border because it's not only humanitarian, it's an economic crisis for our taxpayers.
And, you know, Beth, I mean, I think H.R. 2 is a pretty darn good bill, and it covers a lot of important ground. But the White House is insulting the House. Let me just play what the press secretary said yesterday. You probably heard this. I'm going to play some sound. Hang on a second, please.
He's not the only congressperson in the room today. He's not the only person that's going to be in the room. There'll be other congressional members. The president has been really clear. He wants to talk.
Yeah, shout out to Patricia Slade. Patricia Slade said Biden wants those funds for Ukraine and Israel, but House Speaker said he's not doing anything following Trump's advice. Yeah, they need to make them hammer down something on closing the border, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to write off closing the border as comprehensive immigration reform, and people are not falling for that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to David Brown. David Brown said that boy ain't about to close nothing. They're going to be on his head for cutting their labor and stopping their checks. Facts.
About Ukraine, the urgency of making sure we continue that assistance to Ukraine, what that means, not just for the broader world national security, but also for us. And so Speaker Johnson is not going to be the only person in the room.
I mean, insulting the Speaker of the House,
Yeah.
And then saying, as Claudia just said, that basically this is about Ukraine funding. It's not about closing the border. I mean, that is just cheap shot, offensive. That's no way to do a deal.
Well, no, you're absolutely right. No, we have had wins in Ukraine. I mean, for example, we have been able to contain the expansion of Russia through Ukraine. You've seen 80% of the equipment that was originally brought into Ukraine has been incapacitated or destroyed. You also haven't seen that conflict expanded beyond any other NATO countries. Those are wins. But where we do see losses is in the Middle East. We see what's going on between Hamas in its attack on the Israeli people. We see what's happening with our Houthis that are going after our Navy ships that are destroying shipyards and shipping channels. We see that happening right now. The Biden administration isn't doing anything with that. But you're right. We are absolutely in a wartime scenario down at our border. We've had 100,000 people who have been killed as a result of fentanyl coming in illegally.
What's crazy is what this woman is talking about, right? When she says that they're in a wartime scenario down at the border, what's crazy is that if you're Texas, you're in a wartime scenario at the border with the illegal people who are coming in, with the criminal element of the illegal people that are coming in, and the Biden administration actually has troops down there to interfere with what Texas has going on. They got some serious issues going on down there in Texas. That's one of the reasons why I titled this stream Texas versus everyone, because what's crazy is that it seems like it is Texas versus everyone. And the thing that's counterintuitive about this is that even though I'm not a fan of Governor Abbott, it just seems really counterintuitive that it just doesn't, I can't fathom why it would not be in the country's best interest to support the state that has the largest area of the southern border. You know, at some particular junctures, you have to put politics and differences aside and do the common sense thing. And honestly, it seems like the common sense thing is only coming from one side. And as much as I hate to say it, make it sound like I support Abbott or anything, but if you're going to be completely honest, isolated with this situation, Abbott is the only one that's coming with common sense. It's mind-boggling to me. You know what I'm saying?
You've got countless different terrorist cells that are now operating in our country as a direct result of what is happening at the border, simply because the Biden administration refuses to enforce our laws. If we wanted to have control of our border, we could do it tomorrow if the agencies were allowed to do their job, which the administration is standing between.
But can I just pick up on that, do it tomorrow, Claudia? You know, Trump's success with catch and deport, with remain in Mexico, with Title 42, they were all executive orders, Beth. All executive orders, Claudia. Remember that. Now, the wall required appropriations. Okay, but the other stuff, I mean, while you're waiting on your asylum decision, you remain in Mexico. All right, before you come in, you have to pass a physical, whether it's COVID or something else. These are executive orders. If Joe Biden were serious about closing the border, Claudia, he could close the border.
Yeah, well, Larry, first of all, you heard the speaker say there are over 64 provisions, either executive orders or acts by the Department of Homeland Security under this administration that have caused the catastrophe at the border, as the speaker defined it. They've created this problem. All they have to do is reverse those. I mean, obviously, it's going to take some time to clean up the mess, but right now we can stop this huge number of people coming through and try to help the taxpayers by sending many of these people back. I want to tell you, Larry, you know, you're from the New York area. When I hear New York Democrats talking about deporting illegal immigrants, we have hit pay dirt with the Democrats,
Yeah,
and you know that because you never hear that before.
You know, we just talked to Matt Whitaker, former Attorney General, who's heavily into this issue with President Trump. And there's a poll out that shows 2/3 of Americans now favor deportation of those who have come in illegally.
You know, I'm not trying to be funny, but if they're strategically speaking, right? If because of what's going on in these cities, the Republicans are able to turn people's outrage about the border into support, I think that that's going to give Greg Abbott a lot of pull in the future in the Republican Party. You know what I'm saying? I think that, you know, as much as they love Trump, I think that as this migrant crisis issue plays out, Greg Abbott is laying a pathway for himself to be looked at as the number 2. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down.
Legally. That's a big number. It may not be such an easy thing to do, but that's what folks want. So you're exactly right, Claudia. Beth, what's going to happen here? I mean, while the clock is ticking and the arguments continue, and the president, I mean, he doesn't want to give in. He doesn't want to close the border. Meanwhile, more and more illegals are going to come in. We don't know what the January numbers are, but they're not going to be great.
No. I mean, what you saw in December was over 200,000 people have entered our country illegally. We keep hitting records every single month. You've had almost 10 million people right now that have come into our country illegally since Biden's taken office. And the bill that the Senate is working on is not helpful. You know, what they're talking about is 5,000 people illegally crossing per day. And that is basically going to normalize the numbers that we see. That would be nearly 2 million people entering our country illegally. Now, you're right. What we should be doing is turning them away at the border. What the Democrats want to do right now is offer them incentives to come here by giving them jobs. We absolutely cannot do that. So what are we going to do as far as what I think?
Shout out to Rob from Denver. Rob from Denver says Eisenhower 2024. That's hilarious. That's a good question. I don't know. I don't think that Abbott has mentioned anything about that or put himself into that position. That would be interesting, though. As far as electability goes, if Abbott and Trump were president and vice president on a ticket, I think that would automatically, that probably would be unbeatable for the Democrats at this point right now if that happened. What do you guys think? Do you all see any pair of Democrats beating a Trump Abbott ticket? But see, Abbott hasn't talked about that, and I don't think anybody's asked him about that. So I don't think that would be a thing that would happen. But in a hypothetical situation, if it did happen, the way that Abbott has really kind of on his own taken the migrant crisis situation and done the things that he's done with it, I think they'll be singing his praises. And if him and Trump got together on the same ticket, I don't see any Democrat that could beat those two. Because you got to remember, there's a lot of Democrats who are extremely upset with the way that the migrant crisis is going. And the migrant crisis really destroyed a lot of Democrat narratives. And it also exposed Biden and the federal government and the fact that they're not prepared for this. They're not prepared with response times, and they're not even willing to provide the money that's necessary for these sanctuary cities to be able to operate and function properly. So because of all of those failures on the part of the Biden administration, I could really see some Democrats kind of, not really supporting certain things or certain people at the polls, which would be interesting. It would be interesting. It really would be interesting to see. This is going to be a really interesting election year. You know what I'm saying?
we're going to do in the House is hold strong. Republicans have come up with a bill, H.R. 2, that has a number of provisions that would force the administration, force the agencies to do their job, whether or not that's supporting local law enforcement, whether that's looking at ending the catch and release program, building the wall, supporting our Customs and Border Patrol, not by asking for additional monies to be able to funnel more people here more efficiently, as they call it, faster into our country, but by actually turning them away. 80 to 90% of asylum seekers don't qualify. Right. So why are we sending them on planes all across our country for court dates 5 to 7 years in the future that we know they're probably not going to go to? We need to stop those ridiculous programs.
Claudia Tenney, I want to give you the last word because some of the Fox analysis of the issues in Iowa showed that illegal immigration and the open border has become the #1 issue in that presidential caucus.
Now, you guys remember we actually did an article where we talked about the Iowa voters and how concerned with the border security that they are, which is interesting because Iowa, it's not a border state. They're not anywhere near a border. So it's just interesting that they would attach to those issues and latch onto those as some of the things that would create their rationales for voting in whatever direction it is that they would vote.
And Claudia, I'm just thinking out loud, get your take on it. You know what? This could be the #1 issue in the entire election. I think it gives Donald Trump a big leg up because it's a signature issue. But I think it shows how the country.
Yeah, I do believe that this will be one of the #1 issues in the election. I honestly, I believe that the election could really be solely dependent on this issue. What do you guys think? If you guys think so, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't, give me a thumbs down.
Is in full revolt, and the Biden White House and Biden they just don't get it.
I agree with you, and that's why Trump won so decisively. Remember, in 2016, he was the first person to come out and actually stand for the border, and it was because he decided and he took a position as a candidate that citizenship in this country has value, and the Democrats are undermining it. This policy by the Biden administration undermines that whole notion of citizenship, self-governance, believing in our Constitution and freedom.
Not only does it undermine any of the stuff that she's talking about, but also, as you can see, you can't have a situation like this where you're doing all of these benefits and all of these rights and privileges for these people who are coming in illegally, right? And these are things that are not even being granted to the American citizens. What is the American citizen equivalent of a quote unquote sanctuary city? Now, when I say the American citizen equivalent of a sanctuary city, I'm talking about where you don't get arrested, you know what I'm saying? All of that kind of stuff. Where is that for American citizens? Let me know what you guys think. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to everybody that's watching. I appreciate each and every one of you guys who are watching. We got 24 people watching and we got 22 likes. If we could get those likes to 30, that would be great.
And I think a lot of people, especially, it's interesting, new immigrants really embrace this type of, they came here for a reason.
Right.
And so I think that's why Trump even resonates with them. They may not love his personality, but boy, do they like the policies. And it's deja vu all over again, as Yogi Berra would say, because I think that's going to happen again in this election of 2024. You're going to see President Trump get elected again on the same issue, oddly enough, that he got elected on in 2016.
And what's interesting about that is that honestly seems like what we're seeing playing out. Shout out to DeAndre. DeAndre says that he believes that immigration is going to be one of the top 3 issues in this upcoming election. If you guys agree with DeAndre, please give me a thumbs up in the chat. If you guys disagree, then please give me a thumbs down and let me know what you think your top 3 will be if the border crisis and immigration are not part of your top 3.
Texas Senator Ted Cruz has endorsed Donald Trump enthusiastically, I might add. And the good senator joins me now. Sir, in your endorsement announcement, you said that this race is...
Shout out to Vinnie Mae over on Twitch. If you guys are not subscribed to the channel over on Twitch, make sure you guys take a moment and subscribe on Twitch if you're a Twitch user. Also, if you have Twitter, make sure that you follow Undocumented on Twitter. The links will put the address for it in the chat on YouTube, and the link is also in the description box for it. So please take a moment and make sure that you guys are subscribed, because those things also give extra notifications. Okay.
Over. Does that mean you think DeSantis and Haley should drop out?
Well, look, that's a decision they're going to have to make. But I think the results in Iowa were compelling. President Trump won over 51% of the vote. He won 98 counties of the 99. It was a dominant result. And at this point, I don't see a path for any other candidate. I think he's clear he's going to be the nominee. And so I think it's time for the party to unite and to focus on what matters, which is winning in November, beating Joe Biden. This country is on disastrously the wrong path. And I think the consequences of that are enormous.
Who do you think should be Trump's vice president? Do you have any advice to give?
Well, I have no idea. I don't know who he's going to pick, and I don't know that he does at this point. I think he'll go through this process, and I imagine we'll get an announcement right about the time of the convention is typically when it happens, and so it's probably a little premature for him to make that decision.
Well,
I think he should nominate someone, number one, who maximizes the chances of winning in November and adds electorally to the ticket. But number two, I think it's important to nominate someone who is prepared to be president. Look, the job of vice president, the most.
Now, I want to let me know. Who do you guys think would make a good vice president pick for Trump? Who's a politician that you think would match up well with Trump and they would have a winnable ticket? Let me know what you guys think. I don't have, the only thing that I could think of is Abbott as far as with this border issue. I don't really know if there's any other likable conservative politicians that are in the running for that, but let me know what you guys think. And honestly, Abbott's not likable. He's just the one that's made the most impact with how he's handling the border crisis. So I just want to make that clear too.
If he asked you,
is to be ready.
If he asked you, would you accept the nomination to be vice president? I mean,
well,
would you? You'd love it, wouldn't you?
I don't think that's going to happen. So I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm not going to lose a whole lot of sleep waiting for it.
And you're not going to answer the question. Okay, I got it, Mr. Senator. I got that. Now let's get serious. Vice President Harris blames Republicans for the crisis at the border. Bear with us, Senator. Just watch this briefly. Roll it.
First of all, everyone knows our immigration system is broken. Right. The solutions are at hand, but frankly, we're in an election year, and the folks who want to return Donald Trump to the White House would prefer to talk.
Just pay attention to how the Democrats, they continue to say the immigration system is broken. Anytime this discussion takes place and the Democrats are controlling the language, the Democrats always say the immigration system is broken. The immigration system is broken. The immigration system is broken. You will know that the Democrats are serious when the language changes to border security, because immigration system being broken and border security are two separate issues. They are not the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So they're sitting up here playing games and tap dancing, and we all know what time it is. Shout out to my man, Crew Reality. What's good with it, bro?
Talk about a broken immigration system instead of focusing on the solutions that are at hand and engaging in bipartisan work. I think it's critically important that we understand that there are petty politics at play on this issue as much as anything. We need solutions. The solutions are at hand.
Well, Mr. Senator, she says it's your fault, but you are discussing a border deal. Are we going to get a border deal that's acceptable to you?
Well, I have to say, listening to that's an awful lot like an arsonist standing there spraying gasoline on a house that's burning and saying, I don't understand why the firemen won't put this out. She is the one, and Joe Biden is the one, and the Democrats are the one that broke this system. Understand, Joe Biden inherited the lowest rate of illegal immigration in 45 years. And they deliberately did this. The week he was sworn in, the numbers skyrocketed. And we now have, in 3 years of Biden's presidency, 9.6 million illegal immigrants, the worst illegal immigration in history. And understand, like her claim, oh, it's Republicans' fault. By the way, that's been their talking point all 3 years. It ignores the fact that they did this unilaterally and they can fix it unilaterally. I'll tell you how you fix it, Stuart. It's very simple. There's one question that resolves whether you have a border crisis or not. What do you do when you apprehend an illegal immigrant? If the answer is you apprehend them and you put them on a plane and you fly them back to their country, your numbers plummet. That's the reason we got the lowest rate of illegal immigration in 45 years, because we deported people when they came here illegally. What does Joe Biden do? What does Kamala Harris do? When they get here, they let them go. They put them on a plane or a bus and they send them to every city in America. And by the way, Joe Biden could end that today. He's defying the law. He's flouting the law. And the reason is simple. Biden and Kamala and every Democrat, they want this invasion. They look at those 9.6 million illegal immigrants and they see future Democrat votes, and they don't care about the people who suffer. They don't care about the people who die. They don't care about the children who are brutalized. They don't care about the 100,000 people who died of drug overdoses last year. All of that they think is acceptable political cost for a partisan victory in the end, and that's an incredibly cynical view.
We have millions of illegals here already. Republicans want to deport them. Can you see deporting millions of people?
Absolutely. And by the way, We always have. You know, one of the amazing things, and I will say Joe Biden did something I never thought would be possible. He made me miss Barack Obama. Look, Barack Obama, I disagreed with on a ton of issues. I think he was a bad president. But you know what? On immigration, Obama, by and large, followed the law. Barack Obama deported millions of people. In fact, the left got mad at him. Remember, they used to call Obama the deporter in chief? What Biden is doing, no president in the history of our country has ever done. He's just utterly defying the law. He is essentially saying, I don't care what the law says. I'm going to let everyone go. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are the last mile of the human trafficking network, and they're sending illegal immigrants to every city in America because for them, politics is more important than the human lives they're destroying.
Mr. Senator, thank you very much for being with us this morning.
Yo, that's crazy. Ted Cruz called him the last mile of the human trafficking. That's wild, man. That's wild. So now, next, what we're gonna do? We looked at a couple of national news articles to see where we're at as far as how Biden feels about the migrant crisis, about border security, and we checked out a couple views from some conservatives and Republicans. We're gonna move now to the local level. We're going to talk about a couple things that are going on in Chicago. And one of the reasons why we're talking about things going on in Chicago, because Chicago is Chicago versus Texas. We're going to talk about a couple things going on in New York. One of the reasons is because it's New York versus Texas. And then we're going to get deep into the Texas stuff.
Let's turn to Chicago's migrant crisis that has steadily become a crisis beyond the city limits. Mayor Johnson canceled this week's sit-down with several suburban mayors who are also dealing with rogue buses. But now we understand that meeting is back on, but with a much smaller scale. NBC5's Win has more on this growing problem of housing and caring for asylum seekers.
Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is scheduled to meet with a group of suburban mayors next week to provide an update on the migrant crisis and the city's ongoing efforts to house them.
Whether you agree or disagree with what's happening on the border, and I think we all agree the system's broken and how to fix it.
Mayor Gary Grasso of Burr Ridge received an invite as part.
Do you guys think that Brandon Johnson had that anxiety attack because of this upcoming meeting? What do you guys think triggered that anxiety attack that Brandon Johnson had?
Part of the executive board of the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus. He says one of his questions to Mayor Johnson at this meeting is regarding public safety.
All of us are concerned, of course, about our residents and their safety, and also the migrant safety, and especially here we are going into another Arctic weekend.
This comes as the city says 4 more buses were expected to arrive today in Chicago, bringing the number of new arrivals to more than 34,000 since August of 2022.
We are simply running out of space, and the mayor's team is doubling them up simply because we have nowhere else to put them.
15th Ward Alderman Raymond Lopez says the shelter capacity at the Gage Park Fieldhouse in his ward has doubled.
We talked about having roughly 200 or 250 migrant asylum seekers living at the park, and we are up to nearly 400 now.
He's concerned about health and living conditions, saying they're seeing the same problem at the Pilsen shelter where the 5-year-old boy died last December. He says capacity more than doubled with 2,500 migrants now living under one roof.
We are putting people in harm's way. And for all of the money that Mayor Johnson and his team are spending to address the migrant crisis, we should be able to deliver better.
As for the mayor's meeting, it will take place next Monday at 4 p.m. Several mayors telling me they plan to attend virtually. Reporting from City Hall, V1 NBC5 News.
So there's that.
Well, new questions tonight over the safety and living conditions near a migrant shelter on Randall's Island.
Let's take a look at this. This is the Randall's Island shelter. Migrants are sleeping with one eye open. Let's take a look at this. Look at, you see this guy? This guy is like carrying a body.
All right, the latest incident caught by our camera involves a woman being carried away.
You see this? What in the hell? This is in New York City. Yeah, shout out to Vinnie Mae. Vinnie Mae over on Twitch says, my hometown, Rome, New York, showed these criminals the door. Get the F out of here. Y'all can't stay here no matter, no way. Go the way back y'all came. Yeah, I agree. Yo, what's up with homeboy carrying this body, though? My man was just carrying my man was just carrying a limp, lifeless body in broad daylight with a mask on. Right. DeAndre, like, what? Right. Right. Man, what?
Well, new questions tonight over the safety and living conditions near a migrant shelter on Randall's Island.
All right, the latest incident caught by our camera involves a woman being carried away after suffering some sort of medical incident in the freezing cold.
This comes after a man was stabbed yesterday. Jessica Formoso has the latest.
A police presence was visible tonight on Randall's Island, a day after a man was stabbed in the neck.
Man, it's going down, man. Right. Right. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Where was he going with that body? Bro, you ain't never lied. What they got going on up there? Man, we're gonna run that. We're gonna run that back one more time. Hold on, man. Because that's just wild. You just don't usually see something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, new questions tonight over the safety and living conditions near a migrant shelter on Randall's Island.
All right, the latest incident caught by our camera involves a woman being carried away after suffering some sort of medical incident in the freezing cold.
This comes after.
Bro, she's in the cold in a bathrobe, and my man is outside without no coat on and the snow hat. Look at, she got on a bathrobe and she just outside. She just out of it. I'm just out. My man just carrying her.
Well, new questions tonight over the safety and living conditions near a migrant shelter on Randall's Island.
All right, the latest incident caught by our camera involves a woman being carried away after suffering some sort of medical incident in the freezing cold.
This comes after a man was stabbed yesterday. Jessica Formoso has the latest.
A police presence was visible tonight on Randall's Island, a day after a man was stabbed in the neck. Cell phone video given to us by a migrant shows the chaos.
Hey, yo, wait a minute, man. What is this? What is this that this dude got in his hand?
Us by a migrant shows the chaos.
What kind of why does he have a stick like they out there on The Walking Dead? Man, what's going on at these places, man? What is going on at these places, y'all? Facts. Shout out to DeAndre. DeAndre said, and they just casually showing this on the 1 o'clock news again. Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, here's some news for you with dinner. Really? Man, make that make sense.
Given to us by a migrant shows the chaos. This woman had just walked in when she saw the victim screaming for help. The man was stabbed. He was screaming, saying he was stabbed in the neck by one of the security guards. She did not want to be identified, but says a group of Venezuelan men got into some type of argument that escalated into a fight. Security got involved. You can see them in the video wearing the yellow vest. 18 people were arrested. They call this place.
Yo, why was they wearing? I thought these was like staff members. Why they got these like construction vests on? The hell?
Security got involved. You can see them in the video wearing the yellow vest.
Oh, that security is the yellow vest. Okay, I thought them was the Venezuelan migrants. I was confused for a second.
18 people were arrested. They call this place the death shelter, said Angel, who arrived in New York Friday morning. He was placed here at Randall's Island, but says from the moment he walked in, people told him to watch his back. Before something happens to me, I'd rather be somewhere else. I'm going to ask to be transferred to another shelter, or if they can get me on a flight to another state. Migrants we spoke to say they sleep with one eye open and one eye shut, fearing they will be attacked. This stabbing comes less.
Who's gonna attack them? Are they scared? They're scared of other migrants? Is that the situation that we have going on here? That they're scared of other migrants? Is it that bad? That's the situation that we got popping off? Well, Lord have mercy.
Less than 2 weeks after a 24-year-old man was stabbed to death inside the same shelter. We reached out to City Hall asking if they are aware of how unsafe some migrants feel, but we have not heard back. As we were out here reporting on the stabbings, our camera caught the moment a migrant woman.
Man, what?
As we were out here reporting on the stabbings, our camera caught the moment a migrant woman suffered a medical emergency. She was unconscious, just kept having seizures, said this migrant who came to her aid but did not want to be identified. The young woman, who they call Dani, has been living in one of these tents steps away from the city's makeshift shelter for weeks. According to those who live with her, they say she was complaining of the cold moments prior to suffering the seizure. And we still don't know the condition of that young lady who suffered that medical.
Man, they just threw her over that fence like a rag doll. They just threw her over that fence like a rag doll. Did y'all see that?
Medical emergency. All we know is that she was taken to a local hospital at Randall's Island. I'm Jessica Formoso, Fox 5 News.
Man, look. So, shout out to your boy, Hip Hop Mayor Eric Adams. What up, son? I'm finna talk to y'all today about the migrant crisis here in New York City. This crisis is unsustainable. It's unsustainable. The local government shouldn't have to deal with a federal humanitarian crisis. You understand?
As we've been reporting a violent day here in New York City, several people stabbed. Of course, it is just one of the topics that we will ask New York City Mayor Eric Adams
And the
about.
110th mayor from New York is at City Hall right now. Mr. Mayor, thank you for joining us. It's really a serious thing. I assume you saw the briefing by the New York Police Department at One Police Plaza.
Of course.
So many people stabbed in the last
Of course. I used to be a cop. I used to be a pig. Of course I saw the briefing. What do you want to know about it?
days, including 3 today in Queens, 1 in Brooklyn. What can you tell us about what you know about what happened?
The investigation is ongoing. The police commissioner's team briefed me earlier this morning, actually, and they are looking for a suspect that's possibly involved in all of these incidents. And we're going to bring in the—
See, this is what you got going on. These cats coming to the United States, lurking around the corner with a big zombie knife just out like that. Nah, Look at the you could look at this knife, man. Homeboy just got the hoodie zipped up. You know what I'm saying? He got the hoodie zipped up and that big knife that you can see like in the camera. Sneaking around looking like a creep. Are we serious? For real, for real? Shout out to Abdul. What's good with it, bro? Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to everybody that's watching. We got 23 people watching, and we got 25 likes. If everybody can bang on that like button and get us to 30, that'd be great.
justice, and I'm going to allow the detectives to do their job and what they do so well. At this time, we believe we have a potential facial, and we're going to continue to seek him out and find him.
Mr. Mayor, recently you and the city, the police department talked a lot about the fact that major crime is actually down here in the city. The issue is, though, when you have a situation like we had
Shout out to DeAndre. Facts. DeAndre said, just give them work permits, they said. Problem solved. Right. My question is, how is the work permit going to solve this creep walking around with this big giant knife? Patricia Slade said that the man was from the Bronx and they arrested him and he stabbed about 6 people. Man, that's too much. Absolutely too much.
today with the string of stabbings. The other day, the man on the subway simply trying to help, he was killed, didn't go home to his families. So the perception still is that crime is serious and a lot of people are still scared. And for many people, perception, of course, is reality. What do you say to people about that?
And you're correct. The goal of public safety is not only statistical data. Yes, we have 5 of the major 7 categories of crimes are down, double-digit decrease in shootings and in homicides. But when you have these chilling events, such as the incident that took place on the subway system or a random act of violence, it does shake our confidence, and we know that. And that's the role of the police department. That's why we want the omnipresence, the visual presence of that uniformed officer. And we want to continuously tell people that we have a real solid grip on those who are committing crimes. And we must put in place those incidents that don't allow repeated offenders to return to our streets and those who are dealing with mental health issues.
Today,
so if you don't want repeat offenders returning to the streets, why do you want to allow people who you don't know if they're repeat offenders to be able to come into the country and take sanctuary in the city that you're the mayor of? That logic doesn't really make a lot of sense.
And the last couple of days, the people, the victims of that stabbing on the in both Brooklyn and Queens, the victims were regular everyday people. Last night, we saw you talking with much emotion, Mr. Mayor, about the two cops who were shot yesterday by a man who had roughed up his mother, and then she called cops, and he grabbed the cop's gun and shot them. This close, you said, this close to two cops being killed.
Did anybody hear about this particular crime? It's been a while since I've done a Crimecast stream, and I really hope to be able to get one in this week. But I didn't even hear about this. Did you guys hear about this crime that they're talking about up in New York? If you guys heard about it, give me a thumbs up. If y'all didn't, give me a thumbs down.
Victims of that stabbing on the.
And anytime anybody's watching on the replay and we ask about this stuff, if you have information about it, timestamp where we're asking this stuff and drop the link. Moderators are able to drop actual clickable links into the chat, but if you just drop and copy the link, I'll be able to copy and paste it and go research it.
In both Brooklyn and Queens, the victims were regular everyday people. Last night, we saw you talking with much emotion, Mr. Mayor, about the two cops who were shot yesterday by a man who had roughed up his mother, and then she called cops, and he grabbed the cop's gun and shot them. This close, you said, this close to two cops being killed.
Yeah. So apparently this guy ended up beating up his mother. Then he took the gun from the police and shot the police with it. Woo-wee. That's all I got to say is woo-wee.
It just brought back some terrible memories. January 20th, 2022, days into office in that hospital, hearing the loud cries of Officer Mora and Rivera's family. That's just impacted me at the beginning of my role as the mayor. And I thought about that yesterday. Heroes don't wear capes, they wear blue uniforms. If you saw what happened in that room and the action those officers took, just really wise, imperative that we give our police department the support they deserve. And then look at the Supreme Court ruling. Both Officer Mora and Rivera.
Right, that's facts. That's facts. Shout out to Dave. Dave says, but we could have heard if he was black. Super facts.
We're responding to a domestic violence type incident. And this incident yesterday was a domestic violence. He was assaulting his mother.
Should there be a counselor of some sort, Mr. Mayor, to come to these domestic violence cases with your officers?
And there's more than just a counselor. We always follow up with something called a DIR report, domestic incident reports. We do follow through. We have officers assigned to the commands that go out and look at these cases. And then we need to give people the support they need. You know, when you look at the number of assaults and homicides, many of them are related, family members that are related. And this is a real national issue. That's why the Supreme Court is wrong for making it easier, determining to make it easier for people to get access to firearms that are dealing with domestic violence incidents.
Mayor, I want to shift to another issue that you have said over and over is a national issue. Recently, Governor Hochul said that the state, $2.4 billion to the city of New York to help with the existing migrant crisis. But she was clear. She repeated something you have said often. The feds have a responsibility here to offset those costs as well.
So true. And I cannot thank the governor enough for just being a real partner around these issues of public safety, transportation, how do we get people back on our subway in general, but specifically the migrant and asylum seeker issue, national crises, and it's on the backs of cities across this country, Chicago, Denver, New York City, Los Angeles. It's just wrong. It's not the right thing to do. And we knew we had a problem after returning from Washington around the 7th time. We put a plan in place not to allow people to stay.
Man, that's hilarious. Yo, shout out to David Brown. David Brown says, when you pause it on his face, it looks like a doormat. Yo, that's hilarious. I think in the merch store, you can make doormats. I know that you can make one of the bathroom mats for in front of the shower. Now, as far as like an actual doormat, I don't know if you can make an actual doormat. They got like a Spotify store or not a Spotify, a Shopify store. But I haven't really. I've been looking at that one to try to figure out how it works. So once I get that figured out, you know what I'm saying, we'll get that together. But in the interim, I can definitely make an Eric Adams bath mat that you can wipe your feet off on over his face. You know what I'm saying? How many people would be interested in a Eric Adams bath mat? And I'll put right across his forehead, wipe here. If that's something that you guys would be interested in the BLR merch store, give me a thumbs up. If not, give me a thumbs down. You know, we got the two merch stores. We got the BLR merch store, and all you got to do is just hit the community post on the channels that had a store available. And then there's the StreamYards merch, or the Streamlabs merch stores that the bots put the links in the chat for. So make sure you guys check out the merch store.
In our shelter system, we cycled out over 60% of people who came through our system from 168,000, drastically decreased down because we're doing it right and we're managing this crisis the way other cities are stating we're doing a darn good job here.
Okay, what are you going to do with that $2.4 billion? Because a lot of people, Mr. Mayor, last week criticized the way the city handled coming out of a tent city at Floyd Bennett Field in Brooklyn.
Criticism comes with the territory. I'm the mayor of the city of New York. I have an obligation to address these problems. People did not elect me to just talk about the problems. They elected me to fix the problem. I identified that problem in November, and we don't want to open up Floyd Bennett Fields or Randall's Island. But
Yo, shout out to AB Promotions in the Discord. I don't know if AB is watching the stream or not. Shout out to you, bro, if you are. But yeah, here's that story. Here's that story. We're gonna take a break from your boy Hip Hop Mayor, and we're gonna take a quick look at this. Oh, that's a good one. Do you guys want Eric Adams and Brandon Johnson? I'll make them both. Now, if I make them both and don't nobody buy them, I'm gonna be mad. But I'll make them both though. I had them bad boys up tomorrow. I'm gonna try to make one with the most disrespectful thumbnail that I can find. I'm gonna try to make one with the most disrespectful thumbnail that I can find. You know what I'm saying? 2 New York Police Department officers were shot in a struggle with an ex-con during Brooklyn domestic violence call. That's crazy. Let's listen to it with the AI. Hold on, I'm gonna pause this so it don't mess with me. Let's see. Hold on. Here we go.
2 NYPD officers shot in Brownsville, Brooklyn domestic violence call. Daily News e-edition. Evening e-edition. Subscriber services. Daily e-edition. Evening e-edition. News. Crime and public safety. Politics.
See, sometimes you gotta wonder, like, why these things don't have the common sense to just go right to the damn article. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should know better not to read all that extra stuff. So here it says 2 NYPD police officers responding to a domestic violence call suffered non-threatening gunshot wounds in a confrontation with an ex-convict in Brooklyn on Tuesday afternoon, police said. A 911 call from a mother said she was being attacked by her adult son summoned the officers to an apartment on Bergen Street near Saratoga Avenue in Brownsville just after 3 p.m., according to the cops. It's always an argument between mother and son, said neighbor Nova Fuller. He screamed, "Remember what you said to me yesterday. I'm not going back to jail." The mother said she suffered a head injury, according to the police. The 2 officers confronted Melvin Butler, who is 39, and told him that he was under arrest. His name, Melvin Butler. I can only imagine what he looked like. You know what I'm saying? Butler refused the cops' instructions and put his hand behind his back, and a violent struggle broke out. New York Police Department Chief of Detectives Joseph Kinney said at a news conference on Tuesday evening. He added that body-worn camera footage showed Butler struggling with the officers on the ground, and then you hear an officer state, "He has my gun," and then shots are fired, the chief said. One of the officers was shot in the left hand and the other in the left thigh. So this is where they was at right here. At least one of the cops returned fire, striking Butler in the stomach and his leg, said the cops. Other first responders were also at the scene. A cop came out of the building holding his right hand, said neighbor Andre Garvin. He was holding his hand with something wrapping it as he rushed to the EMT. Both officers were taken to Kings County Hospital, where they were reported in stable condition. Butler was taken to the same hospital, where he was listed in critical but stable condition. Butler's criminal record includes a February 2023 charge in a domestic violence incident, police said. He spent 15 years in prison in 2004 for an attempted murder and was wearing an ankle monitoring bracelet during the shooting, police and sources said. Yo, that's wild. Some people just really don't care about going back to jail. Right, exactly. Another hint. They didn't hesitate to bust back. Facts. They wouldn't have busted. They would have been boxing if it was somebody else. You know what I'm saying? But they busted back at old boy. You know what I'm saying? Oh man. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that on the Twister album? He was like, old boy got his hot dog took, and they took his pellet pill, said pow. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, fuck old boy. Shout out to my people on 116th for Champagne. Keep it Rizil. These young punks, they just tearing up the neighborhood. And my wife, she stay over there. Right over there. But these young punks, they just tearing up the neighborhood. Y'all remember that? How many of y'all remember that off of the Twister album? One of the injured officers had been with the New York Police Department for more than 9 years, and the other had been with the department for 16 years, said Police Commissioner Edward Cabin. Their names were not released. A domestic violence incident in Harlem in January 2022 took the lives of 2 police officers, William Moore and Jason Rivera. The suspect in that case was fatally shot by a third officer. Mayor Adams saw echoes of Mora and Riviera's deaths in the shooting on Tuesday. Today, we could have had a similar tragedy, Adams said at a news conference. Because of the swift actions of the 2 police officers who were involved and the responding officers, those officers will be going home. Yo, man, that's wild. But believe it or not, the crime in New York City has actually decreased. As crazy as that sounds. You know what I'm saying?
The fact is, we're out of room. We were getting thousands of migrants, asylum seekers.
Whoa, what'd he say?
Each week.
What'd he say? Y'all got to put some emoji in the chat. What did your boy Eric Adams say?
Fact is, we're out of room. We were getting thousands.
He said, the fact is, we're out of room. That's the same as being unsustainable.
We don't want to open up Floyd Bennett Fields or Randall's Island, but the fact is, we're out of room. We were getting thousands of migrants, asylum seekers each week, anywhere from 2,900 to 4,000 a week. That comes out to 16,000 a month that we have to house, make sure they're fed, make sure they're taken care of, educate the children. And this is not something that the migrants should be blamed for. This is something that our national government needs to fix with a real decompression strategy and to fund this.
Now, here goes my question. Why shouldn't the migrants have a little bit of blame for this? Why shouldn't the migrants take a little bit of blame for this? So there's that. There's that. So we're going to look at this next. Lawrence Jones from Fox News decided to go to Texas. And we're going to take a look. We're going to take a look and see what his visit looked like. Okay. Let's see. All right, here we go.
Terry Mayorkas reveals more than 85% of migrants are released into the U.S.
Wait a minute. We heard a different number last week. Lawrence Jones is at the border getting a firsthand look during an exclusive ride-along with the Texas Department of Public Safety.
He joins us live from Eagle Pass. Lawrence, those are some great glasses and some great footage.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it. Good morning, family. So yesterday during our live broadcast, you saw how brazen illegal migrants have become with their illegal activity, jumping the fence in the middle of our broadcast. Well, yesterday we had the opportunity to go on a ride along with the Texas Department of Public Safety. This is what we saw. Watch. We're live here at the Rio Grande where the Texas Department of Public Safety, the Florida Fish and Wildlife, as well as the Texas National Guard are getting ready to do some patrol in the Rio Grande. Remember, it is the Rio Grande that separates Mexico and the United States. And many of the folks take that dangerous journey where a current is underway to come to America. I'll let you know how it goes.
Hey, Trooper, do you mind asking them where they're coming from? Yeah, coming from Nicaragua, going to Houston, going to...
Man, that's crazy. It's just people camped out and parked like that. That's some crazy scenery, man. It's wild that those people are just camped out and parked out. You turn and it's a family like sitting behind a big boulder by the river. Isn't that crazy? Man, that is wild right there. That is wild.
California and going to Florida. So there's been some dispute about the governor sending the buses to the location. But as you can see, before they even enter into the state of Texas, they already know where they want to go. We're approaching right now the buoy system. Now, as you can see, it's still here. Some Democratic officials want this stuff to be.
Now, you guys remember when we talked about the buoys yesterday, right? You guys remember that? If you guys remember us talking about that buoy system yesterday, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't remember, give me a thumbs down.
We're approaching right now the buoy system. Now, as you can see, it's still here. Some Democratic officials want this stuff to be removed. And what they say is the buoy system is harmful for the migrants that are coming across. What a lot of people argue is they can stop and turn back around. We got one migrant that is turning around. They couldn't get into the country. And so a lot of times you'll see that. They'll go back and you'll see the bag right there with all his belongings there. But they'll try again.
Right.
So we've seen what happened.
And that's why I'm mad that I haven't had a chance to do any of the Box Bros videos yet. I haven't had a chance to do any of the Box Bros videos. So by the time I get a chance to actually do the first Box Bros video, it's going to be like 4 hours long. But Vinnie Mae says it is. Seeing that citizens are locked up for sleeping in parks and parking lots make sense. Yeah, facts. Make it make sense. I don't think that it can be made to make sense. I don't think that it can be made to make sense. Shout out to DeAndre. Yeah, make sure you guys subscribe to the Box Bros. Or not subscribe to the Box Bros, but be sure that you guys are watching and got your alerts set so you see when the Box Bros videos come. Who knows? One of these days you might search Box Bros and there might actually be a channel, just like Undocumented Bros.
Happens on the border, on the water, in the air. Let's see what happens on the ground.
Man, you see them all coming out this car?
It's all about money.
Look at this. Look at this. They all coming out that car like somebody lifted up a rocket. There was a whole bunch of bugs under it, and they just all start running. Did y'all see that? Do y'all remember that one video that we was watching? I think it wasn't in any of the migrant crisis content. It was on Crimecast. Do y'all remember on Crimecast when we looked at that video when the police was chasing them people in California and they busted out the back windshield and crawled out of the car like that, and it was like 20 of them people in the car. Do y'all remember that? Do y'all remember that? Right. We just need some circus music playing. Man, we just need some circus music playing, bro.
Idiots! I'm surrounded by incompetent idiots!
What kind of shit is that?
Man, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. Hey, man, we got some classic live streams, man. We got some classic live. It's some classic live streams in the library. You know what I'm saying?
See what happens on the ground.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Whoever that chick was a modern woman border patrol agent. Did y'all hear all that testosterone in her voice? Rawr, stop!
In the air. Let's see what happens on the ground.
It's all about money. To the organizations, what's his gangs, it could be cartels.
Oh, look at yeah, look there. Man, I didn't even realize she had went. Man, she's a MW 5000. Look, there she go right there. She came out of the blue like the damn Flash and grabbed old boy by his leather jacket. I thought she was one of the people escaping. Look,
it's all
there she go in a flash right there, coming right out the bottom left hand corner of the screen. Watch this. If you don't look fast enough, you'll miss her.
It's all about money.
Man, she like teleported over there. Did y'all see that? They drink them protein shakes and go to the gym. You know what I'm saying? Got to be in shape for their OnlyFans hustle and be in shape when they go to the job. Listen, man, I be trying to tell people, man. I be trying to tell people, man, but they don't be listening.
To the organizations.
You see, she threw his ass down on the ground. Nowadays, the women are throw. These masculine ass women nowadays, they'll throw you around. Look.
It's all about money. To the organization.
You see, she threw his ass like a piece of paper.
About money. To the organization.
Oh man, she threw him down so hard he rolled a little bit. He had a little roll to him.
Organizations, what's his gangs, it could be cartels.
He got up and ran. That's the smartest thing you could do, bro. I bet you didn't know they had police officers like this, but you never know though. You know what they recruit nowadays. That might not even be that might just look like a woman. Man, she threw his ass across that grass like a bag of leaves.
It's all about money. To the organizations, what's his gangs, it could be cartels. Those people.
Man, that's crazy. She just ran up to the truck and caught them. And the one that she didn't catch, she threw him to the ground and whipped him across the room. And he got up and ran. I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad. Now, if she was that bad like that, could you imagine how she would be if it was her time of the month? Instead of teleporting to behind the car, she probably would have teleported and like been in the back seat while they were still driving. Modern ass.
People that are crossing.
I bet you she would be honored if you called her a policeman.
Are just money. They're not people. They're a hot commodity, and they're going to make money off of them no matter what it is.
Tell me about the human trafficking aspect of
it. Look.
We see a lot of human trafficking involved, and
Stay
so
your ass
here
down.
it is human smuggling. So they're making money off of getting bodies across the border. We see it in other areas like Houston, for example, where it is human sex trafficking. You see child trafficking.
Look, they got
All
two
of
of
it is
them.
about
They got two of them, man. They cloned a modern chick. So they found one of them that worked good and then just cloned them all. It's a scary world out here, bro. These are undateable. Let me ask you a question. Who would date a woman like this? Who would marry a woman like this? What did you do at work today, honey? I threw a man across a field. Yeah, I'm good on that. Congratulations. Good for you. Yeah, I'm good.
You see child trafficking. All of it is about getting them over here and then making even more money once they have them over here. People from New York, California, Florida that are coming into smuggle because you can make money doing it. And where there's money, you'll find criminals. So we do see a lot of people from all over.
Bro, that's the epitome. That's the epitome of I don't need a man. She don't need a man. Nowadays, if these chicks want kids, all they got to do is just have an injection. They just go get an injection. Go buy a little kit from the store. You know what I'm saying? Incubate a baby in 30 days. You know what I'm saying? They got the stock DNA for the XY chromosomes, and the woman just give herself a couple shots and wear a patch, and all of a sudden she's pregnant. They don't need a man. I'm not trying to be funny, man, but the they don't need a man women need to actually be treated like they don't need men. You know what I'm saying? And these ones, they definitely don't. If you throwing people across, you throwing people across the floor, because see, now with these modern chicks like these police officers here, if you're not Jackie Chan or if you're not Mike Tyson, you have a modern She-Hulk bionic woman like this, and you're just a normal regular man, she'd be sitting up there talking about you're not protecting her. Are you serious? You fight like Trinity on the Matrix, and you sit up there. Everybody don't fight like Trinity on the Matrix. MMA fighters don't even fight like Trinity on the Matrix. And then sit up there and say that you're not a man because you're not protecting them. Man, I'm good. I'm so good, man. Shout out to Patricia Slade. Patricia Slade said they still need a man's sperm. Shit, they can 3D print it. You know what I'm saying? Or they could just put it in refrigerated vials and get it from the lab. Yeah, stock. You know what's crazy, Caldona? They are working on making stock DNA. Believe it or not. Believe it or not, bro. If you anybody that's a member of Just Talking with TD and Rob, TD and I actually did a live stream where we talked about that, and there's an article from the New York Post, and I believe that he clipped that particular portion and put it out as a clip. I'm not sure if it's still up on the channel. It might be in the members only part, but I think it's in the members only part. But if you not part of Just Talking with TD and Rob membership, it's only a ducat. You know what I'm saying? You can go over there and subscribe and check out that video. You know what I'm saying?
That are being recruited down here. I think that we're putting a hurt into locals that would be interested in smuggling, so they're having to reach out further to find people willing to do it. For me, catching bad guys and putting, example, murderers or people that hurt children.
Now think about this, right? She's made a career out of what women do naturally. Women naturally catch bad guys. That's why they have such relationship issues, right? So she said, wait a minute, I can monetize catching bad guys. And she's made a career out of it. That's what I'm saying. I don't be mad at these things. I just think that people need to understand these things and move accordingly. You know what I'm saying? You have a natural aptitude towards catching bad guys. We hear the stories about them all the time because those of us who aren't bad guys get blamed for it. So instead of catching those bad guys and then letting them get you pregnant, catch those bad guys, put handcuffs on them, and get a paycheck for it. That's what these women have done. You know what I'm saying?
And those guys behind bars, that's what I care about.
And on a personal note, I got to say I'm proud of my state of Texas and the law enforcement that are doing everything that they can to keep us safe. Back to the point of the migrants knowing exactly where they want to go. As I said, if you remember doing our live broadcast yesterday, I talked to the migrant before he even...
Yeah, shout out to DeAndre. If you guys aren't subscribed to Just Talking with TD and Rob, make sure you guys hit that link that DeAndre just put in the chat.
Jumped the fence, and he told me that he was going to go to California.
Speaking of Just Talking with TD and Rob, I don't know how many subscribers we need, but we're right on the verge of getting 3,000 subs. It would be great if we went into February with 3,000 because we got a goal of getting to 10,000 by the end of the year. So if you haven't subscribed to Just Talking with TD and Rob, or if you're watching on the replay, turn on the live chat and hit that link that DeAndre just put in the chat and make sure you go over there and subscribe.
So that just shows you they know our laws. They know what the Biden administration is allowing them to get away with, and they know their destination once they find some way to go, whether they jump the fence like that guy did or crawl under the razor wire or go through the fencing. These guys know where they want to go. I'll send it back to you guys in New York.
Lawrence, why would you not go to California? Free health care if you want to become a woman?
It's amazing that security has the light shined on this dude, and he's so casual and comfortable with it. All he's doing is just cupping his hand over his face. Let me ask you all a question. How many of you all would put this type of razor wire in front of your house? Hey, what's that other lady's name? The one that was working on the Trump case that got in trouble for the little affair that she got going on. Modern. Nikki Haley, modern too.
Podcast yesterday, I talked to the migrant before he even jumped the fence, and he told me that he was going to go to California. So that just shows you they know our laws. They know what the Biden administration is allowing them to get away with, and they know their destination once they find some way to go, whether they jump the fence like that guy did or crawl under the razor wire or go through the fencing. These guys know where they want to go. I'll send it back to you guys in New York.
She got an old school name. She's got an old school name, bro. I thought that like there wasn't any more Fannies, and if there was anybody that's still named Fanny, like they all in the nursing home. Like I thought that was an extinct name. Shout out to Rob from Denver. Rob from Denver said people are putting fences in their front yard instead of razor wire. I'm telling you, when I build my compound, bro, I'm about to find out where they got all that razor wire from, and I'm putting thick. That's why I be so fascinated when I see this stuff on the border. I'm putting thick spools of razor wire all like around the border of my house, bro. I'm dead serious.
Would you not go to California? Free health care if you want to become a woman or a man? It's also on the house.
And apparently the cartels show you how to jump over razor wire. If I saw that, I would.
Yo, speaking of, if you want to become a man or a woman, if you're not subscribed to LGTB, make sure you guys subscribe to LGTB, because I'm definitely about to try to get up 3 or 4 streams on that channel this week, because they haven't really been talking about this stuff in the news, but it's going crazy with that. David Brown said that name sound dusty. Yeah, that sounds like a dusty old school name. That's a dusty old school name. You know what I'm saying?
Would have no idea how to do it, but he did it with the modicum of scrapes and scratches.
Folded it over.
Unbelievable.
I might just stay in my own country.
Lawrence, you know, this is pretty
The razor wire is
astonishing.
to keep you in, Brian.
This just shows you, if you're down there for a few days, and you've already seen several of these instances, the one in the water, this guy over the fence, we saw some of that footage that Fox reporters have gotten over, the course of the last few months. It just shows you how big of a problem this is.
It is so true, Ainsley. And just consider this. The past couple days that I've been here, these are light days. These are the people that said, even though the Secretary of Homeland Security is going to be in town, we're going to cross anyway. The traffic is down right now because there's someone that is in power coming to the border. Sure. Now that he's gone, now that our broadcast is gone, we're going to see an uptick of migrants coming across the border.
You could be right.
What does Mayorkas say when he goes down there? I mean, nothing ever happens. Nothing's done. It's still a crisis. He goes down there, he meets with border agents. I mean, are they screaming and yelling at him? And then he says, I promise I'm going to fix it, and he doesn't?
Right. He said yesterday, that the number was closer to 85%. And
right.
You have to walk it back. Lawrence, we got lots more with you this morning live from Eagle Pass. And I'm Steve Ducey.
All right, so there's that. There's that. All right. So next, we're going to take a look at this. And this is what I was talking about earlier, about how there's a lot of Democrats who are really upset with other Democrats because of all of these border failures. What we're going to talk about is a Democrat from Texas who is giving their opinion on the Biden administration and how they've been handling the migrant crisis. All right. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys haven't smashed the like button, please take a moment, smash that like button. If you guys haven't hit that bell, make sure you guys take a moment and hit that bell. And also, if you are not subscribed to the Undocumented Twitter, make sure that you guys take a moment and subscribe to Undocumented on Twitter.
Now to the battle on the border now. Security rages on there in Texas, the Lone Star State now adding even more razor wire and fencing to an Eagle Pass park. And Fox News cameras were rolling, capturing their pre-assembly. Matt Finn live from Eagle Pass, Texas. And Matt, bring us up to date where we are now. Hello and good morning.
Well, Bill, our viewers know for years now we've been reporting from inside this park, and migrants have been able to freely cross into this park and the United States. Well, now, over the past week or so, we have not seen any large groups being able to get inside of this park. There is row after row of razor wire and fortification, and it seems like it is working. Texas is also now arresting migrants who illegally cross into Texas. Under Governor Abbott's new emergency declaration, Texas DPS says last night it arrested 3 men for a criminal trespass after they crossed through the razor wire. One man that was from Ecuador.
So who's the redhead? He looked about as American as I don't know what. He's illegal. I bet you he got some type of accent. See, he could have got through. All he had to do was just shut his mouth and shake his head anytime they asked the question, and they would have just let him through. Vinny May said he looked as American as apple pie. Yeah, he looked like his name. Now, he actually looked like his name is Chad or something. All he had to do was say, dude, I was just down here for vacation and I lost my license. They'd have just let him go.
Crossed through the razor wire. One man that was from Ecuador. Also today, the Texas National Guard is scheduled to install hundreds of yards of additional fencing and razor wire to bolster this park's border. This is pretty much in defiance of the lawsuit between the Biden administration and Texas. The federal government wants full access to this park and the ability to potentially remove razor wire as it sees fit. Now, all this is happening in Maverick County. We talked to a Democratic candidate for County Commissioner Yolanda Ramon. Yolanda is also the former Democratic Mayor Pro Tem of Eagle Pass. Yolanda tells us she gives Vice President Harris a, quote, -30 failing grade as borders are. And Yolanda says most people in this region would praise Republican Governor Abbott for seizing this park.
He's helping a lot more than anybody has here. You know, again, I know that's a controversial issue here because I know there are a lot of people who don't want to hear that. But if you live here, if you're here in the community, then definitely, I mean, thank you.
And also worth noting, Texas kicked out federal Border Patrol agents from inside of this park, but we have noticed Border Patrol airboats on the river. So it appears that the state of Texas.
So I want you guys to understand the gravity of this. Like, the state of Texas is in a actual like military standoff with the United States federal government. How crazy is that? Seriously, how crazy is that? The state of Texas is damn near in an actual military standoff with the United States federal government. What kind of sense does that make? Yeah, I gotta agree. If you guys agree with Vinny over on Twitch, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. History is repeating itself. Facts. Yeah. Civil War. If you guys agree with Vinny and DeAndre, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down.
Is allowing federal Border Patrol access of the boat ramp here in this park. They just don't want them interfering with their mission here on land. Bill.
Okay, Matt, thanks. Matt Finn, that ongoing story there from the border. Dana? I'm Steve Ducey.
Do you guys remember when I said I think that the most likely issue to cause a civil war in the United States would be the migrant crisis? Do you guys remember when I said that? If you guys remember when I said that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't remember when I said that, give me a thumbs down, because I absolutely said that. If anybody watches the replay and they come across one of the where I said that at, please make sure in the comment section you timestamp it.
The battle over whether individual states can take matters into their own hands when it comes to border security. That issue now centered on a public park in South Texas.
Members of the Texas National Guard have taken over the area, and they're refusing orders from the Biden administration to let U.S. border agents in.
National correspondent Mara Sirianni is tracking this story.
So now this right here, guys, this is why I'm calling this live stream Texas versus everybody. Because I'm telling y'all, if y'all pay close attention to the situation, this is literally Texas versus everybody. Texas is for real out here being the Lone Star state. That's why I got your boy Brave Star. That's why I got your boy Brave Star, the Space Cowboy, on the thumbnail. Yep, I sure did. Shout out to Alonda. Alonda said you said that after Biden won the election in 2020. Yep, facts. Big facts. Anybody that's been watching my content for a long time, damn near everything down to the T. We're literally, go back one of these days and just pick a random playlist and binge watch all of the videos in the playlist. And as you're binge watching them, when you get done with the video, look at the date when the video was published and leave a comment. I'm telling y'all will be like, what?
For us this morning. Hey, Mark, good morning.
Yeah, guys, good morning. We have some new images from overnight. We'll show you in just a second, but safe to say that tensions are certainly escalating between Texas state officials and the federal government. Troopers there are actually now arresting migrants in the Shelby Park area for the first time since the state took control of that area last week. So let's give you I should pull up a map here of what we're talking about. Again, this is a Shelby Park area along the U.S.-Mexico border. The Texas National Guard has now taken over this park in the city of Eagle Pass, and their troopers have also been refusing access to Border Patrol agents. They've also put up a fence there. But this is that new video. Just before 11 o'clock last night, a spokesman with the Texas Department of Public Safety posting the images on X. See, shows migrants here being handcuffed and then hauled off by authorities with the caption, quote, "Under the authority of Governor Greg Abbott's border disaster declaration, troopers are arresting illegal immigrants for criminal trespass at Shelby Park." He goes on to say, quote, "Troopers are arresting single adult men and women," and says the state of Texas will.
And again, this substantiates who it is that they're arresting. It says that they're arresting single adult men and single adult women. My question for you guys is, what's up with all these single adults? What's up with all these single adults? And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to everybody that's watching. We got 21 people watching and we got 30 likes. If everybody can bang on that like button and get us to 40, that'd be great.
Remain proactive in curbing illegal border crossings between the ports of entry. So Lieutenant Chris Oliveira is explaining further the arrests are taking place on private land where the landowner granted the state authority to apparently make these arrests. And it all comes on the heels of the Biden administration informing the Texas state officials that they had until the end of the day Wednesday to stop blocking federal Border Patrol agents access to a 2.5-mile stretch of land along the U.S.-Mexico border, which included that stretch of land near Shelby Park where a woman and 2 children drowned last week in the Rio Grande. So Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, in a letter to Homeland Security, said the state plans to continue ignoring orders from federal officials to cease and desist. The state, like I mentioned, even putting up a fence now and has Texas National Guard members manning the fence and manning that gate, again, preventing Border Patrol agents on the federal level from doing their job. So the Biden administration says that Border Patrol should be the job of the federal government. Texas state officials say the federal government's not doing its job, so that's why they are stepping in. In the meantime, though, the Department of Justice also stepping in. Finally,
hey, look, is this over dramatized or no?
So that's why they.
Is that a little bit of an over dramatization? They about to tiptoe to prosperity.
They are stepping in. In the meantime, though, the Department of Justice also stepping in, filing an injunction to get the Supreme Court to intervene here and get federal agents back into the park. An appeals court, though, ordered the agents to stop removing razor wire while legal challenges played out. And again, AG Paxton last night responding to all of this in a message to federal officials. He said that Texas, quote, "will not surrender." Guys.
So there's that. All right. So now, do you guys remember that situation where the migrants was just coming up to people's houses, knocking on their doors, asking if they can get something to eat or asking if they can get some money? Well, in case anybody was curious, they're still doing that. I mean, to me, like, man, you really, really got to have some damn nerve. You got to unapologetically have nerve to be able to have the capacity to I'm going to just go up to a bunch of strangers. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just go up to a bunch of strangers and knock on their door and ask them in the middle of the night, can I have some money? They're trying to get some Grey Poupon. Yeah, excuse me. Do you have any Grey Poupon? Like, seriously? Right. Facts. That's the question that we need to be asking. Facts. Anybody got the answer for that question from David? David said, hold up. Where them horses and whips at for him? Yeah. Shout out to Vinny. Vinny said they knock on this door, they will wish they never came to this country. My question is, why would you think that that's okay?
When migrants first came to sanctuary cities, Democrats rolled out the red carpet. They pitched them wedding tents, filled them with recliners, popcorn machines, Xboxes. Leaders of sanctuary cities campaigned on the issue and boasted about all the illegals they'd let in, remember?
Protect our immigrants during the COVID immigrant stay. They provided a service for the city, and I believe we need to continue to make sure this is a sanctuary city.
We have a responsibility to make sure that families who are seeking love and support here in the city of Chicago and throughout the state of Illinois, that they are not just welcome, but they are serviced.
See, here go my question. How did anybody know that Brandon Johnson was having an anxiety attack? Because if you ask me, Brandon Johnson looks like he's in a constant state of an anxiety attack all the time. Like Brandon Johnson always looked like he about to be like, Chi-Town, dollar bill. I don't know why Brandon Johnson remind me of Bernie Mac in Players Club, man. But he just do. Like anytime I see Brandon Johnson, I just think of Chi-Town, dollar bill. Oh man. Man, rest in peace, Bernie Mac, man. But I swear, anytime I see Brandon Johnson, that's all I think about. I literally hear that. Anytime I see Brandon Johnson, I just think of Players Club, and I just laugh to myself. Oh, man. See, they wouldn't do that in my state because somebody will either shoot him or put a gun out the window at him. You know what I'm saying? But people be aggressive. Like you remember those movies from like back in the 80s, and like if they went to an area where it was a bunch of homeless people, or they went to an area where it was a bunch of crackheads or drug addicts, and all the people would just jump onto the car and swarm the car, and they would be trying to squeegee the car down and then charge you for it. They claim that that's what these migrants out here doing. What's that? Should I make a Brandon Johnson shirt with him in a pimp outfit with a feather on his hat and make it say Chi-Town dollar bill on it? Oh man, Chi-Town dollar bill.
But house guests can only stay for so long before getting on your nerves. The migrants are now causing trouble in the communities that were forced to take them in. Migrants are turning their children into little banditos, sending them into stores to steal food and clothes. They're also canvassing neighborhoods, going door to door to panhandle, using Biden phones as translators and asking for food and for cash. Migrants have assimilated quickly, though, and are now adopting one of the oldest tricks in the book.
Yeah, he said that the migrants' kids are turning into little banditos. You know what I'm saying? Oh, is a bandito little like Ron DeSantis? Would Ron DeSantis be a gringito? I'm just curious. not a gringo, a gringito.
Running into traffic, faking getting hit by a car so they can extort the driver for money. Maybe Loverboy can take care of that case. And the people have had it. In Chicago, 70% of people say focusing on housing new migrants is hurting American citizens. And in New York.
So Brandon Tux Pads, Johnson & Johnson. Oh man, I didn't know that Brandon was the Johnson from Johnson & Johnson. It all makes sense now. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Jacoby. Jacoby said, I see the mayor with clown makeup on with that crazy ass hair. Man, bro, looking like Sonic the Hedgehog. He got, how many people used to read comic books, the Image comic books? Y'all remember the Savage Dragon? Brandon Johnson's haircut looked like the Savage Dragon's fin in the middle of his head.
Eric Adams issued a curfew for migrants.
We're still getting thousands of migrants and asylums who are coming here. And so we want to give clear messages on what's expected. The overwhelming number of people who are there, they want to take the next step in their American dream. But you do have a numerical minority that we want to give clarity to, that you can't come into our system.
Yeah, that's facts, Patricia. Big facts. Patricia said, somebody lying. I thought they gave them money and food stamps. So why are they going door to door begging? Facts. Facts. That's a great question.
Systems and be disruptive and in the neighborhoods.
Bad hombres aren't just impacting sanctuary cities. The whole country as a whole is suffering, and they know who to blame. Just 18% of Americans approve of Biden's handling of the border, the lowest rating for immigration any president in 2 decades. Raymond Maniscalco has had migrants show up at his front door to panhandle, and he joins us now. Raymond, so is it just knock, knock? Let me have some dinero? What does it look like?
What they're doing is they're ringing doorbells. They rang my doorbell, and my girlfriend answered, and they stuck a government-paid telephone right in the face. They're already pre-programmed in English, and it said, "Can I have some money?"
If you're white and you're from New York and you pronounce girl Goyle, your family has never been anywhere outside the East Coast. Like when whatever group of immigrants his family came here, they've never left New England. If your accent is that's like a compound 5-generational New York accent. Because like the new New York accents ain't even that heavy where people say Goyle. Like they say like girl or girl. You know what I'm saying? If you say Goyle, like that's Casanova black and white movie Dick Tracy old accent. Three Stooges. Not even Larry Curly and Moe. Larry Curly and Shep old. That's how old that shit is. His family ain't never been anywhere outside the East Coast. Probably ain't been anywhere outside of Boston, Connecticut, and New York either. I'm talking about the extreme East.
Telephone right in the face.
He said, I was with my Goyle friend.
Doorbell, and my girlfriend answered.
My girlfriend answered. Look, am I lying? Shout out to Vinny. Am I lying? That's real. Cause the accent has evolved over time. Like it's not the same anymore. You can still tell that somebody from New York, but it's the difference between like that old Frank Sinatra, old school New York accent and the new one that's around today. He still got remnants of that old Frank Sinatra accent. You know what I'm saying?
And they stuck a government-paid telephone right in the face. They're already pre-programmed in English, and it said, "Can I have some money?"
He's from. See, his family, like his grandfather and his dad, them was them motherfuckers that used to say, "Nah, she nah." Nah, and then migrants say, "Nah," coming to my house saying, "Nah." Knocking on the door every time I try to go to sleep. Here comes a migrant. Yeah, knocking on the door. I don't understand why. And he from that era. I don't know why they keep bringing them here. They need to keep telling them to go back to their own country, Shane. Man, I don't understand. Hey, see, shout out to my. Hey, that's my man right there. Yeah. Facts, exactly. He said a lot of old school PC New Yorkers talk like that. Yeah, facts. Big facts, bro. They do. Man, see, I don't understand. The neighborhood used to be a good place. See, man, they start letting all these different people come around from different places. I don't understand it. They come through here and tear up the neighborhood. See, man. Oh, man, there used to be a candy store over here, Sal's Pizza over there. You can go over there, get a pie and a soda, Shane, for like 25 cents, a buck and a quarter. And nowadays, the kids just tear up the place. I don't understand. You can't keep anything nice. I don't know who raises them. You're acting like wild animals out here. Man, that's hilarious, man. That's funny as hell.
And she turned them away. There was 2 little children with them. They're going door to door. They went into Marine Park during the Christmas holidays at night. And the neighbors were concerned. They were scared. They were coming in through the side doors, ringing doorbells, asking for food, asking for money. Just this week, they stole one woman's laundry in front of her house.
Oh yeah, yeah. He said stole. I bet you he say toilet too. Yeah, I was sitting on the toilet one night and I heard all this noise downstairs. It's making all this noise. I couldn't even understand what they're saying. They're speaking something in foreign language. I think it's just some Spanish or Mexican or something like that. Saying that.
They're getting free Metro cards, so they take the bus into Kings Plaza to the shopping center, and they're robbing stores inside there. They're panhandling in the middle of the street. It's madness.
I mean, we feel bad for anybody that can't put food on the table when they have young kids or can't wear a warm coat in the wintertime. But I mean, this is enough. I mean, we have enough panhandlers as it is that are American citizens. We have enough thieves as it is. I mean, they're obviously, the city is full. It's full. There's no jobs. I thought they were coming here to work. There's no jobs here?
No, there's nothing available. There's 1,700 migrants in the Floyd Bennett fields with nothing to do. They're freezing to death in there. They have to leave their bunker area in order to wash up and take care of their needs. The children are not being schooled. It's a horrifying situation. It's only going to get worse.
Are you giving them any money, or what do you think? Does that just encourage more panhandling?
If they're looking for a pair of shoes, I'll give them a pair of cement shoes. But that's about it. See, yeah.
No, it doesn't make a difference. They're not going to stop. They're very incessant with what they're doing. I don't see an end to this situation. I don't.
Do you blame Mayor Eric Adams? Because I mean, he's just handling the wave that Biden let in.
He is. He's.
Shout out to Patricia. Patricia says a guy on TikTok said they're sending women to people's doors with cards in English, begging, and guys pushing in and robbing them. I haven't heard that on the news. Be careful. So they already went to New York and figured out how to pull the whole little stick-up kid thing. Sheesh.
He's asked the federal government for help, and it's funny that he went to a Democratic mayor who went to a Democratic president 10 times and was shown the door 10 times.
Shown the door, yeah, and now they're probably going to indict him. That's right. You don't mess with the big guy. You get indicted.
No, it's a sorry, sad situation.
All right, Maniscalco, no relation, just to clarify. Thank you so much.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe.
Yeah, so there's that. All right. So let me see what else we got. So yeah, speaking of Mayor Eric Adams, Mayor Eric Adams is upset. He's upset. It's like blood pressure, like Jadakiss. They're coming at my head, son. You know what I'm saying? You're coming at my head, son. Now, who the you want? Eric Adams. Who the you with? Eric Adams. Who the you want? Eric Adams. They're coming at my head, son. Oh man, New York City mayor hits Texas governor over his mean-spiritedness on immigrant crisis. New York City Mayor Eric Adams hit Texas Governor Greg Abbott over mean-spiritedness on the immigrant crisis, saying he devastated the lives of people coming into the country. During his appearance on Good Morning America 3 on Thursday, Adams said that Abbott is intentionally getting people on buses, compelling them to leave the city, and that is why the mayor is hitting back with a lawsuit against dozens of charter companies. Now, if you guys recall on Undocumented Bros on BLR1, we talked about the lawsuits that the city of or that the state of Texas is filing against Chicago. I want to ask you guys again, how far do you think that they'll get with these lawsuits? I don't think that these lawsuits are going to be fruitful or provide any kind of benefit at all. I think that these lawsuits might tie some of these companies up in court, but ultimately, not only are they going to get thrown out, but they're going to get reversed as well. I believe this is what I believe is going to happen. I don't think that the government is going to stop the bus companies from bringing the migrants to these sanctuary cities. You know what I'm saying? We reached out and tried to coordinate with just the mean-spiritedness of this governor who has his intentionality of just placing people on buses, compelling them to leave the city, Adams said. Now, here goes my thing, right? And again, I hate to be like sounding like I'm defending Abbott in this situation, but Abbott has been dealing with this situation forever, and nobody's been listening. So he's probably being an asshole when it comes to doing this shit. Whether that's professional or not, we know that that's not professional. It would make the most sense for everybody to coordinate. If I was in that situation and I was in Abbott's shoes and I'd been dealing with that shit forever, and now when everybody else is dealing with it, they want to act like it's an emergency. But when I was dealing with it, nobody wanted to listen to me. I probably wouldn't really give a shit about what people think or about their feelings either. And they would probably say, Rob, you're acting like you don't give a shit. Because I don't. Because nobody gave a shit when I tried to bring this issue to everybody and nobody was listening to me. So I don't. And I don't care if you think that I don't. Now it's your turn to deal with it. And maybe after you've been dealing with it on your own for the same amount of time that I've been dealing with it on my own, then maybe I'll actually warm up and listen to what you have to say. But remember, just months ago, all of you guys were calling me a bad guy, saying that I'm not shit, while I'm trying to sit here and deal with this chaotic ass situation on my own. Now I'm gonna just sit back and let you fester in your own chaos and watch as you start to sound like me. Yeah, I guess if you think that that's being mean, I guess I'm being mean. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says in early January, Adams announced a lawsuit against 17 transportation companies where he is seeking $70 million to cover the cost of taking care of migrants coming into New York City. Abbott denounced the lawsuit, calling it baseless. It's clear that Merrick Adams knows nothing about the Commerce Clause of the United States Constitution or about the constitutional right to travel that has been recognized by the U.S. Supreme Court, Abbott wrote in a statement on January 4th. Abbott began busing migrants. Hold on real quick. Let me just move this back because we're going to listen to this. Abbott began busing migrants who came through to the southern border to cities led by Democrats in April of 2022. The Texas governor is protesting the way Biden administration is handling the crossings on the U.S.-Mexico border. All right. So we're going to take a look at this video. This video, it says Eric Adams rolls back high-profile service cuts caused by the migrant crisis. Now, we probably have talked about this before, but it's always good to keep going over this stuff because a lot of times they wipe this stuff from the internet, and it's always good to have your own reference point. So we're going to go over it.
So for those parents who participated in the summarizing last year, are really excited to know that there's a green light for them to continue to that we'll be moving forward and they will be able to plan accordingly.
Bringing back the popular summer program and certain community school services comes on a week when the mayor and his team rolled back other unpopular budget cuts. The next NYPD Academy class will move forward. An extra firefighter will be kept up.
I want everybody to let me know what you think about this. While services are being cut for Americans, and Americans are being charged more money to live, services are being created and expanded for migrants, and money is being provided to them. My question for you all is, what do you think about that? And how do you feel that people can change the direction of that if you don't agree with that going on? Because I don't agree with that going on, but I want to know what you guys think.
On certain engines, and more litter baskets will be maintained. In total this week, the Adams administration has restored about $200 million in cuts.
Real quick, commercial break. If y'all haven't hit that like button, take a moment, smash that like button.
Although many
also, if you guys haven't hit the bell and subscribe to the channel, hit the bell and subscribe to the channel. And if you're subscribing to the channel, also make sure that you subscribe to the Twitter account.
On the city council have pointed to the givebacks as proof the mayor has overblown the impact of the migrant crisis on the budget. Friday, the mayor pushed back, saying there's still a $7 billion hole this year, and it's not just because of the migrants.
Stimulus dollars are running out, migrants, asylum seekers, solving our union contracts, tax receipts. You look at the complete picture that we are at, and it's almost a perfect storm.
Which is why Mayor Adams says he's been cautious with these announcements. For example, the mayor was not ready to reverse the elimination of thousands of vacant pre-K and 3K slots. When we pressed him about
And look at the kids. You can see it's all little black kids in there. All little black kids, two little black girls. This is why they're so quick to want to cut these resources. If this wasn't a school where it was two little black girls at, if this was a school where it was anybody else, they would be acting a fool to try to preserve everything going on and make it to where those kids would have easy access to resources, clean classrooms, and effective education programs. But because those are classrooms full of black students, they're looked at as expendable.
was not ready to reverse the elimination of thousands of vacant pre-K and 3K slots. When we pressed him about this, he told us he will attempt to keep his promise that he made last year to young New York families, that anyone who wants a classroom slot will still get one.
We want to continue to move towards that, but I must be clear with us. The dollars that paid for a permanent
shout out to Dave Brown. I appreciate you, bro.
Program were temporary dollars. We now have to see how can we pay for that program. That's on a list of things that the chancellor has presented to us.
Nobody is asking how to pay for any of that stuff with the migrants, man. They just get the money and make it happen. But when it comes to the American people, especially as it relates to stuff in foundational Black American concentrated areas, it's all of a sudden we don't have any money, or we got to find money, or there's this whole situation with a shortage of money. But in any other situation, they just make everything fall out of the sky. Mayor Eric Adams has not asked once where money is going to come from for the migrants. The money is already allocated for the migrants, and that stuff is in place and already in motion, and they're going to keep spending on it. It's stuff for the people who are not migrants that they keep asking, well, where's the money coming from? Where's the money coming from? What do you mean, where's the money coming from? What do you mean, where's the money coming from?
The Adams administration continues to say the only chance to roll back all of these cuts, which New Yorkers are vocal about not liking, is to get some big stimulus from either the federal government or the state government in the budget cycle. There's not really hope for the feds. Those state conversations begin in earnest next week.
All right, so there's that. All right. So now here it says, to deal with the surge of migrants crossing the border, Texas laid down razor wire on its border with Mexico. During his appearance on the Dana Loesch show, Abbott said the only thing that the state of Texas is not doing to deter people from crossing the border is quote unquote shooting people. Now it's funny that that he mentioned that, right? Because I don't know if anybody's aware, but they actually been accusing Governor Abbott of saying that he's advocating for shooting people at the southern border. Have you guys heard about that? They saying that Abbott's sitting up here telling them to shoot migrants. Now, I haven't really heard anything like that. But again, I haven't heard everything. So he might have said something, you know what I'm saying? I just haven't heard it. But what is here is that he said the only thing that the state of Texas is not doing to deter people from crossing the border is shooting people. So if he went as far as to say that, unless he's saying that to cover himself, which he could be, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. And if I don't know, I don't want to say definitively. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying, just be like, oh, he didn't say that because I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But he's being accused of advocating shooting migrants crossing the Texas-Mexico border. Now, even if he was advocating shooting migrants coming over the Texas-Mexico border, I'm sure that there's some type of context to it. Like if they're illegal, if they're trying to forcefully enter the United States border, if they're not complying with the orders of Border Patrol. I could see all of those things where he would say, if you need to shoot somebody to deter them, then do what you need to do. Probably first do it in a non-fatal way if you possibly can. And if it becomes a threat to you, then of course do what you need to do to make sure that you survive. That's not advocating to shoot somebody, though. Shout out to Rob from Denver. Rob from Denver says mayors won't explain why they have to continually fund migrants, and Biden won't explain why he is processing migrants instead of securing the border. Facts. I think that even if they refuse to explain, we can figure these things out on our own. And as long as we figure these things out on our own and put the information out there for as many people to hear it and do what they want to do with it, whatever people choose to do with the information once they get it is on them. And once that has occurred, the things that we see are a reflection of what people do with the information that they have. So, you know, if people know all of this stuff, or, you know, people are aware of all of this stuff and they just sit on the information and just kind of, you know, are not really proactive, all we can do is just kind of, you know what I'm saying? All we can do is just give them the nod. Hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give you the I'm sliding out the picture nod. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna slide out the picture like the electric slide. I already done said what I gotta say. I don't know what you got going on, but I'm about to slide. I'm about to do the electric slide right off the screen. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says the only thing that we're not doing is we're not shooting people who come across the border because, of course, the Biden administration would charge us with murder, Abbott said. So now what's funny about this is Abbott basically said the only reason that they not shooting people coming across the border is because they know Biden would try to charge them with murder. So I don't know if maybe that's what they're saying is advocating for shooting. I don't know. I'd be interested to see. While speaking about the migrant crisis on Thursday, Adams said one of the important factors surrounding the issue is immigrants, quote unquote, not being able to work. That is not the issue. If that is let me ask you guys this. Abbott is right on the border. His state is a border state. How many times have you heard Abbott mention working as a reason why his people at the border are having such a difficult time? How many times has Abbott mentioned work as a reason why the issues at the border exist? As far as how work pertains to the border, work is one of the reasons why they claim these people keep coming. Maybe if there were less jobs and there weren't any jobs for anybody to get when they got here, maybe that would deter people from coming here. That's a thought. Did anybody think about that? What do you guys think about that? Just a thought. So now here goes Adams. Eric Adams said this. Listen, this is a country of immigrants, Adams said. How so, and which immigrants? Next time a Democrat says this is a country of immigrants, we need them to name who the immigrants are. Who are these people? Who are you talking about? And why are you throwing that on me as if it has something to do with me? Because if this is a country of immigrants, those corrupt immigrants are also criminals, because not only did they come here illegally, but once they got here and set up shop, they started buying illegal human property and committed human rights abuses in order to build this country. The people who were part of those human rights abuses, the victims of those people, were not immigrants. We were forcefully removed, and others of us were here already. So now my question is, when we talk about this country of immigrants thing, we need to know exactly who these people are that they are saying are country of immigrants. Because I'll tell you what, as far as immigration goes, let me tell you something about my family. You could trace my family history, right, for the most part. And the foundational Black Americans, you're not going to be able to find any immigration, any records of immigration, anything in our family in any government office. I don't think any foundational Black American, unless they're married to somebody that's from another country, you know what I'm saying? Or if they have a child by somebody from another country, foundational Black Americans are non-existent in U.S. Customs and Immigration Service databases. And that's an old organization. They've been around. All that Ellis Island stuff that they talk about, they got all those people's database information in there. Now, is there anything wrong with immigrants? No, there's not. This is not me bashing immigrants. If anybody that listens to my content knows, I'm not the immigrant basher. If you think that I'm the immigrant basher, you need to go listen. You need to spread your wings and go listen to some of the shit that other people say. That's not me. Never has been me. All I'm saying is that if we're going to make this assertion that this is a country of immigrants, lay out the people who are the immigrants, and then what I need to know is, well, what is the contribution that you give credit to the people who are not immigrants that contributed to this country? Because you never talk about those people. Yeah, FBAs are not immigrants. We are not immigrants. Eric Adams and all these people from Chicago need to shut up with that bullshit. Anybody that says that foundational Black Americans are immigrants, go to the Immigration Customs Service database and find me information on anybody in any generation of that person's family. Foundational Black American immigration appearances in federal databases will be non-existent. That's how you settle that argument. So now here says the difference between what we did with Ukrainian citizens and other immigrants who have made their way here to this great country is we allowed them to work. Notice how they're not saying anything about making their way to the country through legal and established means. Notice how they're not saying that. This is so anti-American that we're telling thousands of people you must come to a country and you can't provide for your families and children. Nobody's telling anybody that you must come to a country and you can't provide for your family and children. First and foremost, nobody's telling any of these people that they must come to this country at all. Nobody's telling them that. So first of all, as far as this whole you must come to a country thing, no, you don't have to come here. Second of all, if you do come, you can come illegally. You can come legally. Once you come legally and you get all of your naturalization and paperwork established, you will be able to get a job or go get enrolled in a school or something like that. This is all nonsense, and they leave out important parts in order to create a sob story that's supposed to appeal to people's emotions instead of actually dealing with what's going on. And it's nonsense. So they sitting up here talking about Abbott is advocating to shoot people. Governor Greg Abbott denies that he's advocating shooting migrants crossing the Texas-Mexico border. taking heat for saying Texas isn't shooting migrants who are illegally entering the state from Mexico because the Biden administration would charge us with murder. Greg Abbott said Friday he wasn't actually advocating gunplay in his efforts to stop unauthorized border crossings. Anybody with common sense, like I literally said, I guarantee you that they're overblowing that comment that he made. There it is. There's a proof that that's what they're doing right there. There it is right there. There's the proof that that's what they're doing. They're taking his words out of context. Now, didn't we said that this is what they would do? I asked a question to legally distinguish between what Texas has the legal authority to do and what would be illegal to do, Abbott told reporters a day after his remarks to a conservative talk show host about Texas border control initiatives Thursday were posted on social media. And I explained in detail all the different things that Texas is doing that we have legal authority to do and pointed out what would be illegal to do. We called this. And I got to agree with Vinny. If you guys agree with Vinny, give me a thumbs up. Vinny says they can't say that. This country was built on an illegal criminal enterprise. Yeah, I agree. I agree. In the 38-second audio clip posted on X, formerly Twitter, by Heartland Signal, Abbott tells host Dana Loesch that Texas is using every tool from building border barriers to enacting a state law to make it a crime to enter Texas without legal authorization. The only thing we're not doing is we're not shooting people who come across the border because, of course, the Biden administration would charge us with murder, Abbott told Loesch. Now, again, see, this is what I'm talking about right here. This is what I'm talking about how mainstream society has gone so crazy liberal far left that if you say something that is blatantly obvious or makes common sense, they're going to try to attach you to being a far right conservative or something like this is crazy. And I got plenty of beef with Greg Abbott. I've gone in on his ass multiple times. But this is stupid. If you want to go in on Greg Abbott, actually go in on Greg Abbott for some actual bullshit that he's done, because he's actually done some shit. This right here is the wrong one, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, at a news conference Friday in Austin, 3-term Republican said he was not being flippant and no one should construe his remarks to mean undocumented immigrants coming across the Rio Grande should be shot. Literally, you would have to manipulate what he said to even come up with that. No one with common sense in their right mind would have read that statement or heard that statement and said he's saying that they should shoot those people. That he didn't. How do you get that out of that? Let me ask you guys this. When I initially read those comments, did you all get that out of that? If you all got out of those comments that I read that Greg Abbott was advocating for shooting migrants, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, give me a thumbs down. And if you disagree, it's perfectly okay. You know what I'm saying? But me, I didn't catch that. Texas Democratic Party Chair Gilberto Hinojosa called the remark a bloodthirsty approach to governance. Oh. He likened Abbott's comment to once then President Donald Trump said in the months leading up to the August 3rd, 2019 deadly mass shooting in El Paso targeting Hispanics, that the nation has been invaded by hundreds of thousands of people coming through Mexico. Where's the lie at? What's crazy about this is when these people be on that bullshit trying to cancel Black history and calling it woke and doing all of that stuff, I don't know why the Nightbot is doing that, Vinny. My bad. I don't know if you have YouTube, but if you got YouTube, you can come over here to YouTube. I didn't know the Nightbot spam regulation was on Twitch. I'm gonna have to go and change that. But if you want to be able to talk and not have to worry about that Nightbot messing with you, I'll have it. I'll adjust it so that it doesn't do that next stream. But if you got a YouTube account, come over to YouTube. I'll put the link in the chat too, if you want me to. Hold on real quick while I'm doing this. If you guys haven't smashed the like button yet, please take a moment, smash the like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, please take a moment and hit the bell and share the stream to your social media. Do you guys see how they politicize all kind of stuff? Like, there's plenty of stuff about Greg Abbott. Oh shit, hold on real quick. My bad. I put it in the wrong damn place. Hold on. Okay, hold on real quick. All right, here we go. All right, there it is. The shooter in El Paso used similar language in a screed published online before he opened fire at a crowded shopping center. U.S. Representative Veronica Escobar, a Democrat who represents El Paso, reacted to Abbott's comments with dismay. I can't believe I have to say murdering people is unacceptable. I mean, you didn't have to say that, because I don't think that anybody said that murdering people was acceptable. You know what I'm saying? I don't think anybody said that murdering people was acceptable. Escobar said on a post on social media, tagging Abbott's political account on X, "It's language like yours that left 23 people dead and 22 others injured in El Paso." Really? No, it's a person that took a gun in some shopping center and deleted those people that left those people dead. Like, that's just wild, man. It's just wild. So now here it says, the migrant shooting comment notwithstanding, Abbott has sustained national attention for his hardline policies aimed at securing the Texas-Mexico border, which he has said has become intolerably porous during President Joe Biden's 3 years in office. At Friday's news conference, the governor defended his action to seize control of Eagles Pass, Riverside, Shelby Park, and deny the U.S. Border Patrol access to the site on the border. Texas has the legal authority to control ingress and egress into any geographic location in the state of Texas, Abbott said, and that authority is being asserted with regards to the park in Eagles Pass, Texas, to maintain operational control. The U.S. Homeland Security Department on Friday asked the Supreme Court to force the state of Texas to allow federal border officials to operate in the park and on the adjoining section of the Rio Grande, saying Texas National Guard was blocking U.S. Border Patrol operations. Now, here goes my thing, right? I don't know if people know about this, about Texas, but I actually think that Texas, you know what I'm saying, if it came down to it, Texas is ready to go heads up with the United States, because Texas has tried to withdraw from the United States a couple times over the last couple decades. Texas got like their own military, they got their own electrical grid, you know what I'm saying? They really haven't been politically in line with the rest of the United States for quite some time. I think that Texas really wouldn't care about setting it off if it came down to it. You know what I'm saying? If you guys agree with me, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. So now here it says border agents in a vehicle towing a boat to launch on the boat ramp requested access to Shelby Park, but the Texas National Guard refused to permit them access to the area, the federal agency said in the court filing. Border Patrol agents likewise requested access to the staging area, and Texas National Guard refused. The boat ramp that Texas has blocked off is the only safe and operationally practical boat ramp with access to the relevant portion of the river. All right. So there's that. So look at your boy, Governor. Look at your boy, Life with Louis, Governor Pritzker here. He's sitting up here without a neck. He's sitting up here, you know what I'm saying, with his head comfortably resting on the collar of his shirt. I don't know how people do that. Pritzker urges Texas Governor Abbott to stop migrant drop-offs in the winter storm. I plead with you for mercy. Really? I bet you them buttons that got that fasten your collar together pleading for mercy too, because they look like they about to pop off and shoot somebody's eye out with the button when it pop off of your shirt. But okay. He's pleading for mercy. Governor J.B. Pritzker on Friday sent Texas Governor Greg Abbott a sweeping letter about the ongoing migrant crisis, urging him to halt drop-offs during a dangerous winter storm. While action is pending at the federal level, I plead with you for mercy for the thousands of people who are powerless to speak for themselves, Pritzker said in the letter. Please, while winter is threatening vulnerable people's lives, suspend your transports and do not send more people to our state. Pritzker wrote that sending migrants to Chicago this weekend with temperatures that are expected to reach dangerously low temperatures after several inches of snowfall will potentially cost lives. Wind chill values are expected to dip to -17 Saturday night. Your callousness sending buses and planes full of migrants in this weather is now life-threatening to every one of the arrivals, Pritzker wrote. So in the letter that he's asking for mercy in, he's talking shit. I would have wrote him back and been like, there's 10 more buses on the way right now. David Brown said his toilet is pleading with him too. Bro, you know his toilet is pleading with him. Know his toilet is pleading with him. He's one of those people that walks around with a plunger in his wallet. He's one of those people that has a customized metal box. He's got a customized metal box of Tums for antacid. You know what I'm saying? And he has a flask of Malox that he keeps with him. You know what I'm saying? And he has an industrial car muffler size air freshener dispenser that just he walks around with. You know what I'm saying? He's got to go through an EPA check before he even is allowed to go to the bathroom. Mr. Pritzker, come here. We need to check you real quick before you come in here to make sure that environmental levels are okay and not too hazardous. Shout out to Mimi. What's good with it, Mimi? They're big walking biohazard. David Brown said he got Roto-Rooter, the only plumbing company on speed dial. Man. He's the type of person that it's just understood when everybody sees him going towards the bathroom, they just get all the yellow caution signs and the caution tape because they know as soon as he walks out, ain't nothing gonna work in there anymore. The toilet about to be doing that shit where it won't even flush. It's just like ting 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 when you flip it down. You know what I'm saying? That's irritating. You know everybody after you wants to use the bathroom. So why don't you, with your inconsiderate ass, just wait and let the the 1 or 2 people that's in front of you use it, because you know it's about to be toilet apocalypse after you get out the bathroom. I hate that. I say something to somebody about that shit. You know you about to go in there and tear that motherfucker up. And they be thinking it's funny too when they do shit like that. A little snicker, a little smiling. I'm about to tear this motherfucker up. Ain't nobody about to be able to use this. You motherfucker. Like, seriously? like seriously? It's always either somebody at work that's like that or somebody in your family that's like that. They know that you've been outside waiting to go to the bathroom too. Your stomach doing all kind of backflips. You know what I'm saying? You up there looking like you doing the bunny man, or the running man, because your stomach's so cramped up. You bending your knees up, you know what I'm saying, and putting them back down, bending your knees up to kind of scrunch your stomach up so you don't feel like your stomach about to explode. And then here they come out of the bathroom. They know that you've been sitting there waiting to go to the bathroom. Oh, don't go in there. The hell you mean don't go in there? Don't go in there. Where else I'm supposed to go? Listen, man, don't tell me no stupid shit coming out of the bathroom. The hell you go in there for then? Talking about don't go in there. Like, what be wrong with people, bro? And there's always somebody like him. Come out of the bathroom, face all red, you know what I'm saying? Hair matted to their head, sweating like a damn bull that's been carrying a flatbed all day. What the hell was you doing in there? Spraying the damn air freshener, got it looking like chemtrails in the bathroom and shit. Spraying all them damn air fresheners like they cloud seeding in the bathroom. What? Why are you spraying? It's foggy as hell in here. Oh, don't go in there. Okay. Okay. See, sometimes there's people, and you just have to tell them, and usually this will work. Next time I'm gonna have to say something to you. I say that shit to people a lot. When somebody says something stupid, and they know that it's something stupid, because they'll sit up there looking at you stupid too. Don't say no stupid ass shit to me, because next time I'm gonna have to say some shit. I'm gonna have to say something. I'm gonna give you this time. I'm gonna let it slide, and you know what I'm letting slide. Let this shit happen again, though. Next time I'll have to say something to you. Like that's just crazy. I'm got irritated looking at JB Pritzker now, because you know he got like 10 bathrooms in his house, and he's one of those people that makes a bathroom tour around the house. Like, he'll start and destroy all of the upstairs bathrooms, and by the time it's dinner time, he's destroying the last bathroom on the first floor or whatever. When you got money like that and you got all them damn bathrooms in your house, restrict your triflingness to one bathroom. You don't need to go on a shitty tour of duty throughout the entire house. Keep that shit confined into one bathroom so other people can have a chance. I'm telling you, they do that shit on purpose. You was just in that bathroom. Well, I had to go right here because of circumstance. Man, there's no circumstance. Now, if I didn't get to the bathroom quick enough, I would have had an accident all over the place. Well, for one, that's what you have insurance for. And for two, you're an adult. You're supposed to be exercising judgment. Why would you wait until you're about to shit yourself and you can't even make it the distance of somewhere else in your house? What was you doing that was that important that you waited right until the moment that the floodgates is about to break down and explode, that you had to be within 2 feet of a bathroom, or else it was just about to be apocalypse all over the floor? Like, what why did you do that? Why? They don't ever have an answer when you ask them this stuff, neither. Just sit there looking at you and shit. Don't look at me. Look away. Go look somewhere else. Don't look at me. Because you know it ain't no answer for none of this nonsense that you got going on. You know what I'm saying? There is no answer for any of this nonsense. But they'll just sit there looking at you like a little lost puppy. Waiting for you to go get them one of them little flavored rubber pieces of bacon. I'm not getting you any damn thing. Hurry up and use the bathroom and turn the damn fan on. I got to go walk around somewhere and drink some damn ginger ale or something because of you. Shit crazy, man. That's what we got going on with your boy JB Pritzker. They should call him JB Shitzker because you know he be tearing that bathroom up. Governor JB Shitzker on Friday sent Texas Governor Greg Abbott a sweeping letter about the ongoing migrant crisis, urging him to halt drop-offs. Now, this motherfucker Governor JB Pritzker, no, he don't even have any mercy on anybody when he's racing somebody to get to that toilet first. Why should somebody have mercy for you when it comes to shipping these migrants all over the damn place? Oh, yeah, bro. I used to do the same shit. When it came to like the school and like asking for the bathroom pass and all that, I was just asking to be nice. If you didn't have enough common sense to say yes all the time because somebody's not playing when they have to go to the bathroom, that's when I got to take matters into my own hands. Like, I guess I'm going to detention today. Hey, I said you can't go to the bathroom. You're telling me that I can't. My body is telling me that I have to. Get out of my way. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Get out of my way. Clock's ticking. So now, even in this letter here, where Pritzker is asking for mercy, he's still sitting up there talking shit. Your callousness sending buses and planes full of migrants in this weather is now life-threatening to every one of the arrivals, Shitzker wrote. Hundreds of children and families' health and survival are at risk due to your actions. According to the city's Office of Emergency Management and Communications, Chicago has received an estimated 34,562 migrants since the drop-offs began. That includes 4,468 people who have arrived on daily flights to O'Hare and Midway International Airports since June of 2023. One bus was expected to make drop-offs in the Chicago area Friday, the city said. There are also 408 migrants awaiting placement, with 14,574 people in 28 active shelters. Migrants won't get booted from shelters next week, city says, while migrants at landing zone stuck on buses as snowstorm hits Chicago. So they got snowed onto the bus. They was up there in Chicago and they got snowed and stuck onto the bus, man. That's crazy. Welcome to the snow. Because that's how the snow is. See, it's different than going through the Darien Gap, where it's nice and tropical weather. You look to your side and there's a tree with a nice fruit on it that you can eat. Nah. Welcome to the Midwest. Welcome to the Great Lakes region. You know what I'm saying? Welcome to the Great Lakes region. You know what I'm saying? You got the lake effect snow. You got bipolar weather. You got all kind of stuff going on. You know what I'm saying? Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to everybody that's watching. We got 31 people watching and we got 39 likes. If everybody can bang on that like button and get us to 50, that'd be great. So Pritzker's strongly worded letter accused Abbott of having no interest in working on bipartisan solutions to the border crisis because that would put an end to your cruel political game. What about everybody else before he started sending people out helping him with the border crisis? What about that? Hey, let me ask you all this. Before Abbott started sending all these migrants to these sanctuary cities, what was anybody doing to help Abbott with the border? What were the sanctuary cities doing to relieve the stress of the Texas communities that were getting overran daily by migrants invading? Does anybody know? Was there anything being done at all? I don't think that there was even anything being done. So now my thing is, why does J.B. Pritzker expect some type of extra effort from Greg Abbott when Greg Abbott has literally been dealing with this for a while now, for years? They've only been dealing with this for a couple months. And didn't send him an olive branch. And again, this is stupid because you got me sitting up here sounding like I'm caping for somebody that I don't like. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, these expectations that these Democrats have, this is just dumb. And this is how you can tell that the Democrats are not honest politicians. They're not willing to have honest conversations about this. It don't matter whether you like Greg Abbott or not. There's ways to handle situations and ways to not handle situations. And they're not handling these situations. And all of these people are scared to say this kind of stuff because they have their partisan allegiances. Which basically tells you how corrupt politics is. All these people are playing a team sport for money. This is not rocket science. These are situations that can be solved very easy and with less money than what's being spent now. Most of the money being spent is money being spent on politicians who don't like each other to troll each other, which is one of the biggest wastes of money that there possibly could be. But they're doing it anyway. Which tells you that they care about us. How do you care about us if that's what you're willing to spend your money on? You're willing to spend millions of dollars to troll a politician that you don't like, while there's people out here that are actually drowning, you know what I'm saying, in worldly responsibilities and disparities that they're not even approaching at. Yeah, I gotta agree. If you guys would agree with David, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. They a bunch of 304s. They willing to do anything for some ducats. Facts. Anything for some damn ducats. Responding to the letter, Abbott's office on Friday said Texas will continue to send migrants until the president secures the border. Man, that's hilarious. If it's 0 degrees, you're still getting migrants. If there's a hurricane, you're still getting migrants. You know what I'm saying? If there's an earthquake tomorrow, you're still getting migrants. Man, that's hilarious. His office also said migrants heading to Chicago signed a voluntary consent waiver and agreed upon the destination. And the bus drivers are receiving weather updates and are taking additional safety precautions. Yeah, we're going to make sure that on the way to, you're okay. And once we drop you off, you're on your own. You're on your own, B. We pull our own weight around here. Instead of complaining about migrants sent from Texas, where we are also preparing to experience severe winter weather across the state, Governor Pritzker should call on his party leader to finally do his job and secure the border, something he continues to refuse to do. Abbott spokesman Andrew Mahalaris said in an email to the Sun-Times, until President Biden steps up his job to secure the border, Texas will continue transporting migrants to sanctuary cities to help our local partners respond to this Biden-made crisis. Now, my question is, why are these sanctuary cities being allowed to continue to call themselves sanctuary cities if they're telling people that they're not allowed to come? I don't understand that. Does that make any sense? So now here it says Chicago's landing zone became a temporary shelter for migrants in late December after the city stopped housing them at police stations. As of Monday, it was housing more than 500 people in buses, including over 100 children, as the number of people arriving has outpaced the city's ability to place them in shelters. The state on Wednesday opened a new shelter in the Little Village neighborhood, which can accept 220 people. The influx of migrants, more than 30,000 sent to Chicago from Texas, has also hit the suburbs, where several communities have enacted ordinances to prohibit bus drop-offs. So now this is kind of late, right? Remember, we've been kind of alluding to talking about this, but I haven't had the time to put together a full stream on the measures that the suburbs have done to try to block out some of the migrants from being able to be sent there. I'm going to try to get at least one of those streams together for you all this week, and it will be either on BLR1, BLR2, here, or the undocumented or undocumented channels. It'll be somewhere, but it'll be in a community post where y'all will be able to find it real easy. And, you know, you always get the notifications of everything in Discord. But we're definitely going to talk about that this week because we didn't get a chance to talk about it, and it's something that's important. Because we got to ask the question, why were the suburbs able to block some of this with legislation, and there kind of wasn't that kind of thing going on when it came to, inner city Chicago? So now here it says Pritzker on Wednesday said that the state is trying to prevent companies from leasing their planes to the state of Texas. He said he believes that the state has deployed a strategy that is deterring the plane drop-offs. Illinois has been in contact with airport officials across the state to warn them of the flights. We're trying to prevent those companies from leasing their planes to the state of Texas. You can't tell a group of people or an aircraft they can't come somewhere, Pritzker said. On the other hand, there are a lot of things that I think would be a significant deterrent, and they are already working. Last year, the state tried coordinating with bus operators and organizations at the border to try to gauge the timing of drop-offs. Results of that effort were mixed. Pritzker in October tried to publicly pressure the White House to mitigate the crisis, writing a letter to Biden that Illinois is in an untenable situation. What does that mean? That letter led to more frequent communication between Pritzker's administration and the White House about the crisis. So now my question is, why does that translate to more communication for him and other people aren't getting the same communication? That's my question. Somebody make that make sense. Somebody make that make sense. If you are able to make it make sense, leave it in the comment section. If you can't make it make sense, but you watch the replay, make sure you guys help the algorithm by leaving a comment and hashtag replay. We're closing the gap on that 500 subscribers. If you watch the content and you haven't subscribed, I don't know what's keeping you, but we love to have you in the chat chopping it up with us. Make sure that you guys subscribe to Undocumented on Twitter. Watch the videos all the way through to the end. Check out those cards as they pop up. And as always, ladies and gentlemen,